He swung on and hit the air to right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! To left power, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Tomas steps on the bag for 1 out, throws to first, and it is in time, a double play.
Pitch, breaking ball lifted deep to center field, and it is gone! A 2-run shot for Cody Hosey.
A high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a 2-run homer. P.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first season covering Newport Gulls baseball, here's play-by-play broadcaster Stephen Huff.
Newport readies for its matchup against the 2-11 Winnipesaukee Muskrats in what starts the 7-game stretch in 6 days for the Gulls here on Newport County Prevention Night. How you doing, everybody? Stephen Huff getting you set for tonight's matchup between the Newport Gulls and Winnipesaukee Muskrats here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Last time out for the Gulls, they picked up their 8th win of the season as they topped the Mystic Schooners by a score of 11-4. The Gulls were led by Scott Holzwasser, who went 2 for 4 at the plate and scored a pair of runs while also putting it together a highlight reel defensively. On the other side of things, the Muskrats come into this one with the worst record in the Northern Division. Last time out, they fell to the Sanford Mainers by a score of 9-5. It's the Gulls and Muskrats right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show starts right now. Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Stephen Huff joined alongside Gulls field reporter Nick Bello and the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy. Thank you both for joining me. Now, Nick, I'm going to turn to you first. 2 games in a row now that the Gulls have put up 11 runs on the board. The Bats, we've talked about how they're heating up. It looks like they are here. That's a good sign if you're Newport.
Yeah, the Bats have come to Newport so far. It's really nice to see the Bats finally come alive here and towards the end of June. That's so promising. Especially since we have so much more baseball left to play.
Now, it's the first time that the Gulls are going to be seeing Winnipesaukee. And what are some of the challenges that a team faces when you're seeing a new team for the first time?
Just really looking at the pitching matchup for the batters. They haven't seen these guys pitch so far. You just played Mystic. You've already played them 3 or 4 times already this season. So getting used to the pitchers and also for the pitchers, getting used to the batters and what they're going to do at the plate.
Now, Brian, I'm going to turn over to you. Winnipesaukee comes into this one 2-11 on the year, but a lot of Newport fans probably haven't seen a lot of the Muskrats yet. So fill the Newport fans in. What can they expect from the Muskrats? You guys just fell to the Sanford Mainers 9-5. What happened in that game as well?
Well, you can expect this team. The power has been there as of late, actually. It was just last night before the game. They had hit a home run in 6 straight games. Last night they did break that streak, but the Bats have been there. Unfortunately, it's pretty much only home runs that they're able to hit. Last night, like I said, no home runs, but they were able to fight back. They were down 4-0 against the Mainers. They battled back, took a 5-4 lead. Unfortunately, really for the first time all season, the bullpen faltered, and they allowed 5 runs in the 8th inning. They fell from that, but it was the first time really we've seen all season where the Muskrats are able to battle back. Usually when they fall down, they kind of stay down, they kick themselves, but they were able to get back in the game, and so that's something I think they need to continue on in the season if they're going to pick up some more wins.
Well, you mentioned the Bats and a lot of power coming from the Bats. What are some of the names in that lineup that stick out to you tonight?
Without a doubt, it's got to be Sam Cochran. Sam Cochran was really one of the few positives that you could take away from yesterday's game. Went 3 for 3 with 2 singles and a double. Was on base all 5 times, actually, a couple walks. Leads the team with 3 home runs, leads the team in doubles with 5, leads the team in RBIs with 11. He's the guy who's actually slotted, moved up to the 3 spot today, usually was in the 4 or 5 spot. He's the guy without a doubt to take a look at. Terrence Norman as well. He's been one of the more efficient and consistent hitters in this Muskrat lineup. He gets himself on base a lot of different ways, usual hits, but you can sometimes reach base on a couple errors last night, so he gets himself on base. Those are the 2 guys in the 3-4 spots today to look out for the Muskrats.
Well, it's the Gulls and Muskrats right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show continues next. Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the front office report. I'm Stephen Huff with the Gulls baseball director of baseball operations, Mike Falcone. And Mike, First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Friday, it's beautiful.
Yeah, can't be better weather than this. Heating up a little bit. Now, we're about into July. By this time, the interns seems like they're settling into a groove a little bit, understanding their responsibilities and roles. Now, you have a broader view of the interns. Do you start thinking that they understand their roles a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the same thing with the baseball team. June, the first 5, 6, 7 games, everybody's starting to understand a little bit more of what needs to be done and what time, what needs to be done before the game at the field. So, yeah, everybody's really starting to get a good sense of their position, how they can help better the overall organization, which is great.
Last time I talked to you for the pregame segment, we talked about how you're the busiest man in Rhode Island, especially on home games. But I know that's also the case for away games. So what are some of those responsibilities that you have when the team's on the road?
Just making sure that the transportation to and from is all set. Post-game meal when we go somewhere else, just making sure our guys are fed properly and just kind of taking into account of all that. And really just making sure everything's kind of running smoothly. I don't go to every away game, but I try to get as many as possible. And I also like to see how other teams do their operation. Maybe, I don't want to say steal, but take a good idea from one of the other teams who do a good job in our league. So
take some notes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always learning.
Now, obviously, as the season goes on, College World Series ends, so you're still bringing in some new players, or new players arrive at least, but also some players have to go home because of injuries or have to go back to school early, so you're also having to turn over the roster a little bit and bring in some new guys. What's that process like?
It's never ending, honestly. You're always seeing who's available, who's dropping down from another league, who's getting released. I don't deal with it too much. Chuck Pava, Chris Patsos do a great job staying in contact with coaches from around the country, but it's always a challenge when you lose somebody early in the season because you can't plan for things like that. I wish we had a roster of 10, 15 guys, a D-League, a minor league system, but unfortunately when you lose somebody, you're almost starting from square one because a lot of the good guys are signed to other teams. So it's a challenge, but Chuck and Chris do a great job of that stuff, and I try to assist whenever possible.
All right, thank you, Mike. Obviously, like I said last time, you really are the busiest man in Rhode Island. I think thank you for taking the time out here today. So, Gulls pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nick Bell here with Riley Hare. Now, Riley, you're an intern here in Newport. What do you do here? What is your position?
So I'm acting as the assistant director of baseball operations this year. So I do a lot of, game day operations, but also things behind the scenes, such as like event planning for, groups that we have coming to the field, and then a lot of marketing and social media. So I do a little bit of everything.
And what has been your favorite, thing that you've done here in Newport so far?
I honestly just love the whole atmosphere of Cardines Field. Working with the other interns, we have a really great group this year, and I love baseball, so it's just the perfect gig for me this year. So I'm really happy with the overall experience so far.
Speaking of your love for baseball, you're actually a softball player for St. Bonaventure. So you're going into your senior year. What has that experience been like for you?
It's obviously a dream come true to be able to play Division I softball. Every little girl dreams of that. So being able to do that at a great university like St. Bonaventure is awesome. I can't believe that my career is almost over. So I'm just trying to make the most of it this year and just go out with a bang.
And so you're a pitcher for St. Bonaventure, and you've seen some of the guys here at Newport throw. What have been some of the similarities, if there are any, you've seen from their performances?
Fastballs obviously for softball, you can hold it the same way as a two-seam fastball or anything like that for baseball. And then I would compare like a softball changeup to a baseball curveball. So,
I didn't even know that one, so you threw me for a loop.
Well, yeah, because the changeup for softball obviously is slower, and then curveball sometimes with baseball is usually more off speed and it sinks down. Same thing with softball changeup. So, yeah, it's a lot different because, it's a different motion for softball than it is for baseball, but it's still pretty cool to watch all these guys throw, so it's cool.
Well, you learn something new every day, folks, and the pregame show continues next on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Network. I'm Zach Gletzen here with Gulls outfielder Hudson Haskin. Hudson, you were just named Freshman All-American by Baseball America with after your spring season with Tulane. Talk about what that means to you and the type of season that you had with them.
Yeah, it's an awesome honor. It's definitely something that you work for as a kid. That's always something I wanted to try and have. So to be able to say that I was able to accomplish it's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, that's behind me. I know I just got to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing in New Orleans with Tulane, moving up here, what's been your favorite part so far? 13 games into the season, albeit, but playing up here in Newport with the Gulls so far.
Yeah, I'd say Newport's a really cool place, but honestly, my favorite part about it is just the guys on the team. We got a really special group here, and I've already made a lot of great relationships, so having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned you had a great season with Tulane, hitting .372, but you come up here with Newport, you already got 14 hits. That's second on the team. What do you think? How have you been able to maintain that success so far this season with Newport?
Yeah, for sure. I got off to a little bit of a slow start here, but I've just been trying to stick with my approach and it's a long season, just keep my head down and do the little things every day, try and get better. So.
The team's been playing well as of late, winning 8 of their last 11 games. What do you think it's going to take for them to keep that success going as the season continues?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is just consistency. We got to just continue to do what we've been doing every day, and I think over the course of the season, our talent as a team is going to take over, going to win a lot of games.
All right, yeah. That'll do it for us. The pregame show continues right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's time for the Manager's Show. Stephen Huff joined alongside the Gulls manager, Kevin Winterroad. And Coach, the Gulls have put up 11 runs in each of the past 2 games. The Bats, you talked about how they're slow to get going, and eventually they will get here. It seems like they are here.
Yeah, I think I liked our offensive club from the get-go, so I think that they're just finally getting enough ABs to get where they're supposed to be. And truthfully, I think we have a lot of depth. I think we have a lot of guys that can help us.
You mentioned that depth. It seems like the production has come at the top of the line, the middle, and the bottom of the lineup. Really production throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that's usually the sign of a pretty good team. If you got to count on the same guy or two every time to get you runs scored, that's just too much on one person. So good teams find different parts of the lineup that win a game for them each night.
Well, then on the mound tonight, on the other side of things for you guys, it's going to be Mckenzie Stills making his first start. He's a guy that you guys have used out of the bullpen, but now you guys are looking for a little bit more innings out of him here tonight, starting for the Gulls.
Yeah, I think Mckenzie probably long-term is a starter, but we'll see tonight. He certainly has a high ceiling and potential, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do as a starter.
All right, thank you, Coach. He's Kevin Winterroad. I'm Stephen Huff. The Gulls and Muskrats first pitch at 6:35 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Once again, here's Stephen Huff and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
Welcome into Newport on the 50th anniversary to the day of the Pell Bridge being created. We are set for action. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. It is the Newport Gulls with an 8-5 record taking on the Winnipesaukee Muskrats coming into this one with a 2-11 record. And Brian, welcome into Newport. Of course, you're actually the first team up from the northern side of the NECBL to make the trip. So welcome in. I hope the travel suits you well. 3-hour bus ride, you said.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steven. And yeah, 3-hour bus ride, but it wasn't, all too bad. Came down here, and it's a beautiful day here in Newport, Rhode Island. Beautiful Guardians Field as well. I know there's some history behind this field, so it's a pleasure to be down here for the first and only time this year, as we are in the other division. But it's a great day, great night for some baseball. I'm excited to see what we have in store.
Last time out for the Gulls, they beat Mystic here at Cardines on Wednesday in a game that was an 11-4 score. And Nick, second time in a row the Gulls really woke up at the plate with the bats, scored 11 runs for the second time in a row. Scott Holzwasser was our player of the game, went 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. Also had excellent defensive performance from him. 2 stolen bases as well. Also, Brett Vosick at the plate had a 2-run home run. Really all around just an excellent performance from the Gulls as they got their 8th win of the season. But as we mentioned, Winnipesaukee came into this, or coming into this one, with a 2-11 record. Their last time out lost to the Sanford Mainers by a score of 9-5. So quickly, what kind of happened in that game that resulted in that 9-5 result?
Yeah, the Sanfords jumped all over Winnipesaukee starter Roland Tivierge, chased him as he had given up a 4-0 lead about halfway through the game. The Muskrats came back, scored 5 runs, made it 5-4, and then unfortunately the bullpen did falter in the 8th inning, giving up 5 straight runs, and they lost 9-5.
We'll have more on this matchup in a sec. We're going to send it down to the field for tonight's national anthem.
And now, to perform tonight's national anthem is Patrice McKinley, a vocal performance major at Florida State that later attended Berklee College of Music in Boston. Although her passion is singing and coaching, her greatest joy is being the mother of her 2 beautiful daughters, Julia and Michaela.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Tonight's national anthem was sung by Patrice McKinley. We'd like to thank her for coming out here to Newport tonight. Stephen Huff, alongside Brian Murphy, the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, and of course, the field reporter for the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And Nick, thank you for joining us in the booth once again this week. We're going to send it over to you quickly to take a look around the NECBL in the games tonight.
Well, thank you, Steven. We got North Adams at Upper Valley. No score top of the second in that one. That one got underway at around 6 p.m. tonight. Vineyard at Mystic for Northern Vineyard in the top of the first. That one also getting away around 6 p.m. tonight. New Bedford at Sanford. Ocean State at Vermont. Valley at Keene. Now for the standings, the North is led by North Adams, and then followed by them is Valley in second, Keene in third, Upper Valley in fourth, Vermont in fifth, Sanford in sixth, and the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, who are here in Newport tonight, rounding out the Northern Division at number 7. In the South, we have Danbury leading the Southern Division, Mystic in second, Newport in third, Martha's Vineyard in fourth, Ocean State in fifth, and the New Bedford Bay Sox rounding out the order in the South. Steven, back to you, my friend.
So a couple of interdivisional matchups tonight we're looking at, including the one here tonight between the Muskrats and Gulls. Now, I'm going to turn to you, Brian. Of course, at the plate starting off is the Muskrats. So how would you take us through Winnipesaukie's lineup?
Yeah, leading off is going to be the left fielder out of West Virginia University, Austin Davis. Batting second, the third baseman out of the Southern New Hampshire University, Jake Coro. Batting third, the designated hitter out of Eckerd College, Sam Cochran. Then it's the center fielder batting cleanup out of Kennesaw State, Terrence Norman. Doing the catching is going to be the number 5 hitter, Tatum Levins of LaSalle University. Batting sixth is the shortstop, Phil Conti of the College of William and Mary. In right field, Braden Cooney, who was just committed to King's College, batting seventh. In the number 8 spot, it's the first baseman, John Crimmen, who's from Siena College. And then finally rounding out the order is going to be the non-hitter, the second baseman out of the Rhode Island College, Nate Vigent.
And then facing off against the Muskrats on the mound for the Gulls is going to be Mckenzie Stills. Now, he's a guy for Newport that has only appeared out of the bullpen so far, so tonight is his first start. He has made 3 appearances for the Gulls already, has a 2.69
.08 ERA through 4 1/3 innings pitched. Has given up 7 runs, just one of them earned off of 5 hits and 1 walk, with 5 strikeouts to his name. Now taking a look at the Gulls lineup here tonight. Starting off things, leading off for the Gulls is Scott Holzwasser, the second baseman of Northeastern, followed by a designated hitter for the Gulls, Chris Hamilton of Stony Brook. In the 3-hole is Hudson Haskin of Tulane. He'll be playing center field for Newport. And then batting cleanup is Hayden Jones, the catcher from Mississippi State. First time he's actually playing the field for Newport here this summer. And then Justin Henry Malloy, Vanderbilt third baseman, batting 5th, followed by Ryan Tours, the Villanova first baseman, followed by Zaid Walker of Michigan State. He played center field on Wednesday. He'll be playing right field here tonight. Joey Bellini of Cincinnati playing shortstop. He'll be batting 8th. And then rounding out the order is Greg Cavalieri of the URI. He will be playing left field. Now looking out here tonight, let's take a look at tonight's umpires. In just a second, actually, let's take a look over at Winnipesaukee, who is going to be facing off against Newport Gulls on the mound for the Muskrats.
For the Muskrats, it's going to be the right-hander out of Kennesaw State, Luke Torbert, making his second start of the season. Had a couple of relief appearances before his last time out. Got a start in the home opener against the Keene Swamp Bats. Kind of got roughed around in that one. And also his last outing, he comes in sporting a 11.32 ERA, so not exactly what he would like to see. An 0-1 record, a total of 10 1/3 innings pitched, 6 walks, and also 11 strikeouts for Torbert. He's got a pretty good fastball, but his pretty much his best pitch, in my opinion, has got to be his curveball. Does a really good job. That bottom of that ball just absolutely drops out and able to drop into the strike zone. He's been pretty effective with it. It's kind of those other 2 pitches. Sometimes he throws a changeup that sometimes isn't quite there from Torbert.
So a fastball, curveball pitcher on the mound for Winnipesaukee. Now looking at tonight's umpires here tonight is Tony Letizio behind the plate, and then Charles Campbell and Will Bowers will be in the field. Now taking a look at the weather for first pitch. It is a sunny 76 degrees, 65% humidity with 7-mile-per-hour wind coming out of the southwest. So beautiful weather, sunny day out here. Some rain and thunderstorms in the forecast coming in the next 2 nights, but stayed away for us this weekend, and we're lucky enough to get the game in here tonight. Now taking a look at the game defensively for the Gulls. Of course, we already went over Stills is on the mound, but left to right in the outfield, it's Greg Cavalieri, Hudson Haskin, and Zaid Walker. Then left to right in the infield as well, Malloy, Bellini, Holzwasser, and Tours, with Hayden Jones making his debut in the field behind the plate. And of course, the Vanderbilt pitcher, Mckenzie Stills, as we mentioned, making his first start on the mound. Now, he's a guy that was redshirted for Vanderbilt, has a lot of talent on the mound. He comes in here, mid-90s fastball, doesn't look that tall and intimidating on the mound, but has that fastball with a lot of velocity behind it, really catches up on hitters, and then he has a slider to go along with it. So a lot of talent coming from him, but Winter Road says the ceiling for him is high, and long-term thinks he is a starter on the mound, so he's giving him his first start out there tonight.
And as you said, Steven, Mckenzie Stills is on the Vanderbilt team that won the national championship. I spoke to him while the game was still going on Wednesday night, and he seemed pretty happy that his team was taking care of business. He was very happy about the seniors that they were getting to win a national championship.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? How could he not be? But you're right. That kind of a veteran team down there, over from Nashville, and so they ended up beating Michigan and winning the College World Series. And of course, Mckenzie and Justin Henry here with Newport were a part of that team, and then another player coming from Vanderbilt, Isaiah Thomas, will be joining the Gulls. It's his first pitch from Stills. Fastball catches the inside edge, 0-1.
And the first one up is going to be Austin Davis, who came in late in the season, had a really hot start. However, in the last 3 games, he's gone hitless. He's 0 for 15, so looking to break that streak tonight.
Now this 0-1 fastball misses low and away. You say he's gone 0 for 15. He still has an average of 250 for the Muskrats, so going through a little bit of a slump, but if he still has a respectable average, he must have had a really great one to start the year.
He was. He really did. I mean, he came in and he was batting above 500, I want to say, through the first 2-3 games that he was. And when you go 0 for 15, that batting average certainly is going to drop, and we've seen that back down to still a respectable 250, but he would like to get out of that slump.
Well, the 1-1 missed up. Now the 2-1 misses up once again. So 3-1 to Davis. He hit 220 this spring for West Virginia. Had a 313 on base percentage. Now on the 3-1 from Stills. Misses low and away, so count reaches 4 and puts Austin Davis aboard with the leadoff walk.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one thing to go 1-15 and maybe you reach base a couple of times. Davis had yet to reach base in those 3 games, so it's his first walk that he's seeing, and he's able to get on the base pass. And he's got an exceptional speed that we seen displayed from Davis.
I mean, a sigh of relief at that point. Little bit of lifted off his shoulders. Now, Jake Coro settles in at the plate. Righty on lefty. Check swing. Going to be lined over to Malloy. He fields it cleanly. Throw to first, not in time, but Coro went down on that line out. Half swing there from him. Still actually put kind of good contact on it. Unlucky that was right at Malloy.
Yeah, you got to think maybe if he's able to complete that full swing, that might be a single to left. However, only that check swing, and good read by Davis to get back to first base. It was a possible double play.
So with one away, that will bring up Sam Cochran of Eckerd College, tonight's designated hitter for Winnipesaukee. Another righty on lefty matchup for Stills on the mound.
And Malloy kind of hesitated on that throw over to first. I think Stills might have gotten in the way on that one.
Yeah, Stills on the mound, you're right, didn't even have that much time to react, so he might have been in the line of fire of Malloy's. This first pitch popped back into the screen, 0-1.
Sam Cochran stepping in. He's by far the hottest Muskrat hitter. We mentioned it in the pregame. Leads the team in home runs, doubles, and RBIs. Comes in only batting really 275, so despite him getting a lot of kind of those extra base hits, it doesn't hit a lot of singles.
Well, 275 still, a respectable average out there. So a guy that can hit for respectable average and power. His runner takes off, throw to second, not in time. As Jones had a tough time getting it out of the glove, but I tell you what, even if he would have, Austin Davis with some serious speed over there, I don't know if he would have been able to get him.
Yeah, Davis with some exceptional speed on the base path. I believe that's his 4th stolen base so far on the young season. And I'll tell you, Mike Miller, the head coach of the Muskrats, he plays aggressive on the base pass. A steal to third, or at least an attempt, isn't out of the question. We've seen Jake Coro do it a number of times this year, and with the speed of Davis, that's got to be at least an option in the situation.
It is the 24th stolen base of the year for the Muskrats. This pitch misses outside for up and away for ball 1. You guys are a very good running team. Coming into this one, 23 stolen bases, only caught 5 times. That makes it 24 and 5 times caught stealing.
And I will say, Jake Coro, he has 11 stolen bases, so he's really accounted for half of that. So it hasn't necessarily been a team effort. It's really been him and then a little bit of sprinkling from the other players.
So now this 1-1 line back into the screen, 1 and 2. And then you said Austin Davis, that's his 4th right there. So 15 of those 24 bags from your top 2 guys in the lineup.
Well, that's exactly what you want. You want them to get on base and with their speed able to put themselves in scoring position. So even if they get a walk, if they get a single, and as you can see there, Davis immediately able to go in and get onto second. Puts himself in a pretty good situation for the Muskrats to possibly strike for the first run of the game.
Now Stills looking on out of the stretch. Delivers the 1-2 that's going to be grounded over to first. Tours Fields behind the bag. Steps on first for 1. Throw to third. Catches Malloy jumping, and he's able to glove it, but sliding back is Davis. So Davis is aboard third with 2 away. I will bring up Muskrat's cleanup man, Terrence Norman.
And Terrence Norman, he comes in batting 282. He's second on the team in RBIs with 8. He's a guy that's just been really consistent. You know exactly what you're getting on him. And I've said it, if you have listened to any of the Muskrat BP, I think he has the best swing on the team. It's just a really nice swing stroke to be able to get. Really loves to go opposite field. And with that field, the way it is in Cardinals Field, that could be some trouble.
He does go opposite field, but it just tails foul just right of the bag at first. So count now 0-1. You said he has the best swing. He has the best average on the team, at least in the lineup here today for the Muskrats, with a 282 average. Does have a home run on the ledger for him already. But you look at his spring numbers, and those are the ones that pop out to me. 350 average for Kennesaw State this spring. I mean, that's unimaginable.
Exactly. That's no joke, and he's transitioned very well over into the summer ball. One of the 6 returners on this Muskrat team.
So now this 0-1. misses outside. 1-1.
He's batted pretty much. He's switched off between the 2, 3, and 4 spots we've seen him bat. That second spot last night he was batting third, so we've kind of seen him all around. Mike Miller likes to switch him up. He plays all over the outfield as well. We've seen him on left, right, and center.
He hit .350 this spring for Kennesaw State. Slugging percentage of .481, so he can hit for average, can hit for power. It's now the 1-1. Fastball in there. 1-2.
Well, the Muskrats haven't exactly been known. They usually don't ever get their runs until later on in the game. So scoring, I off the top of my head, I do not believe they have scored a run yet in the first inning this season.
That would give them a great advantage moving forward here at Cardines. Now this 1-2 swing tipped into the glove of Jones for strike 3, and that will end things here in the first. So no run score for the Muskrats off of no hits and 1 walk as they leave one stranded. Heading into the bottom of the first, still 0-0 on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Frank.
Bottom of the first here at Cardine, still 0-0, as it will be Luke Torbert on the mound starting things for Winnipesaukee. He'll be facing off against Scott Holzwasser, Chris Hamilton, and Hudson Haskin for the Gulls. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. As Luke Torbert of Kennesaw State, he said he's a fastball curve, mainly a pitcher with a little bit of a change, but doesn't throw it too often. So as on the flip side, Mckenzie Stills, really a fastball slider pitcher. So some similarities between the two. Tall righty on the mound for Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, Torbert looking to improve upon his last start. He got knocked around quite a bit against Keene. That was a barrage, the 13-10 loss for the Muskrats. Total of 11 home runs were hit in that game, 6 for the Swampats, 5 for the Muskrats. And Torbert on the bad end of a lot of those. He went down. That was his first and only loss so far on the season. A couple of other relief appearances before that, so this is only his second start.
Now the first pitch to Holzwasser, misses outside. 1-0. Of course, the Muskrats today, cool gray pants, gray tops to match, the white and blue caps. Now the 1-0 misses up. 2-0. The Gulls wearing white pants with the bright orange tops, and then their traditional black caps. Now the 2-0 going to be grounded over to the third base side. Coro fields off a 2-hop, throws to first into the base pass. Holzwasser spinning out of the way of Crimmin, and now Holzwasser will go back to the dugout as the throw was in time for out number 1.
Looked like a good recovery over there by the first baseman, John Crimmin. That was a tough throw there by Coro. We've seen him do that a couple of times so far this season. Coro has bounced around a little bit in the infield. However, he does have a team-leading 4 errors so far on the season.
And the throw was a little bit down the line towards Holzwasser, so it was almost at Holzwasser, almost hit him while he was running as that first pitch to Hamilton misses up 1-0.
You know, Holzwasser is a tremendous athlete, as we saw here on Wednesday with some of the plays he made in the field.
Made some excellent defensive plays. Now this 1-0 to Hamilton, misses inside. 2-0.
Actually, that spin almost reminded me of one of the plays he did make on Wednesday.
That one on the defensive end. Made a play in shallow right, spinning on a ground ball while throwing to first. Now this 2-0. Big swing and a miss and a fastball up. 2-1.
Aggressive swinging there by Holzwasser. That looked like it should have been ball 3. However, the 2-0 has got the green light to swing.
Hamilton was helping him out a little bit, but you're right. I mean, maybe want to pull one down the line. As right field is favorable for lefty hitters. Now that pitch misses low. So 3-1. And once again, still a hitter's count, so he might have the green light here once again. Torbert early on, struggling to find the zone a little bit through 2 batters. This is 3-1, misses outside for ball 4. So first walk of the day for Torbert on the mound.
Yeah,
I believe that's 8 pitches and 6 balls.
Yeah, he's trying to find the strike zone early on. I mean, and the Hamilton went down as a strike, but that third pitch of that at-bat really should have been a ball. So Torbert granted kind of a strike there. So kind of a 5-ball at bat. for Hamilton. But yeah, Stephen, Torbert's struggling a little bit to find his command.
So with the runner on first in Hamilton, that will bring up Hudson Haskin for the Gulls, center fielder from Tulane. Righty on righty matchup. First pitch misses low. 1-0.
First curveball we've seen so far from Torbert. As mentioned, he's got a really good pitch, really complemented that well with the fastball, but when it's not on, as it wasn't against his last start against Keene, they jumped all over that.
So now the 1-0 is going to be flown into right. Over to his left is Cooney towards the warehouse. It's going to be out of our vision, and I think it's out of play, so count now 1-1.
That corner over there is so tough.
Oh, it's really tough. You know, we've talked about it on previous broadcasts, but it truly is tough for visiting right fielders because they don't, first of all, I mean, just the dimensions are bizarre, but as we saw from Cooney there, running full speed, trying to track down a fly ball, but you have that brick warehouse wall coming up on you quickly, and you have to slow down so you don't run into that brick wall, but you also have to track the ball well at the same time. So it makes it really tough, and you don't know at the same time how the ball is going to carry them off the walls, and it's a really tough place to play. Now the 1-1. This is low and away. 2-1.
I mean, Cooney's not even a natural outfielder out there in right field. He played a lot of mostly first base with UConn Avery Point this past spring. However, he's now committed to play at King's College where they want him to play outfield. So Mike Miller has him out there. So that even adds another element to it. He's not even used to playing the outfield, and he's got to play in a unique dimensions out here at Guardians Field.
This is not the place to learn it, I'd assume. This 2-1 misses up, 3-1.
Yeah, if you were to ask me, I think right field is the hardest position to play here at Guardians. You got that wall down the first base line, then you got that wall in the right center too. That's very tough.
The way it jets out, then you have the light pole in play.
Yeah. Got some ivy too growing along the kind of right center area too.
So for the 3-1 once again, second at bat in a row. Torbert misses up this time, 4-4. So 2 straight walks. We'll put Gulls on first and second. And out at the rendezvous point on the mound at the rubber is the catcher Levins to meet with Luke Torbert just to talk things over, calm him down, I assume, a little bit before things get out of hand for him here in the first.
Yeah, just want to go out there. I mean, back-to-back walks here in the first inning. Obviously still early on, but you don't want to continue this trend and run into a real jam and walks. Muskrat pitchers early on in the season were a really big problem. It seemed like every single starter was allowing just free pass after free pass. They've started to settle in as of late and have been better about that, getting the walk totals decreased.
So that will bring up Hayden Jones. Watches this first pitch miss inside, 1-0. One thing I do like about Torbert, he hides the ball really well as he pitches, specifically more out of his windup. I noticed that against the first 2 batters, Holzwasser, we got the ground out, and then Hamilton. But even out of the stretch, too, the way he cocks his knee up, he hides it really well. As now he's going to get Jones to pop out into shallow left field. Coming on is Davis for out number 2.
Yeah, big out there from Torbert to bounce back off the back-to-back walks. And go back to your point, Stephen, he does. He's got that leg kick, and he kind of curls his arm back and hides it behind that back ear. And for a batter, even just those slight differences between the pitchers, some of them it makes it easier to pick up the ball. Sometimes when they're hiding it, you got to make those adjustments last second.
Yeah, for the Gulls batters, still haven't registered a hit on today. I know they have 2 on base, but that's really just a product of Torbert not finding the zone. None of them have really shown proof of picking up the ball out of his hand, and I really do think he does hide the ball well. This first pitch, there's the curve that we've been looking for, drops into the zone for strike 1 on Malloy.
And that's what he's really good at. Some guys go to the curveball and they rely to it to catch the bottom of the zone. I find Torbert a lot. It goes right at your letters, and it looks like it's going to be a ball, and then all of a sudden, the last second, dips right into the strike zone.
Righty on righty matchup for Torbert on the mound. It's over at second, now delivers 0-1 fastball, swung through and missed for strike 2.
And this is where Torbert excels, complementing the curveball fastball. It's one thing to have a good velocity on your fastball, but that thing looks a couple of miles per hour faster right after you've thrown a curveball.
Yeah, sequencing your pitches is so much part of the game versus just having good stuff. you can have good stuff, but if you don't sequence your pitches well, then that stuff won't mean much. Now this 0-2, fastball line back into the screen. So we'll go again. But you're right, I mean, the way he mixes his pitches well can mean everything, and so far, even in this at-bat, he has mixed well, keeping hitters off guard. Even in the walks, I know he wasn't finding the zone, but you could tell that he was at least mixing well between the fastball and curve, and if he's able to implement the change later, keeping hitters guessing. Now the 0-2, there's the curve once again, catching Malloy swinging for strike 3. So no runs crossed for the Gulls here in the first, off of no hits and 2 walks as they leave 2 stranded. Heading into the second, still 0-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It's the 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Muskrats here in the top of the second. Mckenzie Stills is out there for his second inning of work in his first start as a Newport Gull. Stephen Huff alongside Brian Murphy, the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, as Tatum Levins will settle in at the dish for the Muskrats, the lefty hitter from LaSalle.
Yeah, LaSalle came off a really successful freshman year with the LaSalle University. He led the team with 9 home runs, struggled a bit when he first got here, but he's now running a 4-game hitting streak.
This first pitch misses outside. 1-0. He hit .321 this spring for LaSalle with that .556 slugging. Now this one, he's going to fly into left field, but right at Cavalieri for out number 1. It looked like it would carry off the bat a little bit more than it did, though, so you can see he does have some pop to his bat.
Yeah, and he's only got 1 home run so far to show on the season, but he's been doing it in other instances. He had the double last night that put the Muskrats up 5-4, so he's come through clutch a couple of times in the last few games, and he's really kind of what they expected from him when they're coming in. It's taken a little bit, but he's finally gotten back there.
Now this first pitch to Phil Conti misses up, ball 1. Conti this spring for College of William and Mary hit .208. Now this 1-0 pitch catches the outside edge, 1-1.
Yeah, Conti only batting .143 on the season. However, defensively, I think he's the most sound infielder on this Muskrat team. Doesn't ever make too many mistakes.
1-1. There's the slider from Stills. Conti swings over it, 1-2. Of course, Conti, the shortstop for the Muskrats. You said he's well sound defensively. Kind of what you expect out of middle infielders as well. Now the 1-2 slider that misses low and away. 2-2.
Yeah, he's played a lot of both in the middle infield. We've seen him at second. We've seen him last few games, last few appearances have been at shortstop rather. Done a really good job kind of solidifying one of the shortstop roles on this team.
Now a 2-2 from Stills. Fastball just missing outside, so count now full. Of course, with that .208 average, though, does have a .321 on base, so he did work walks pretty well for College of William and Mary. Now the 3-2 from Stills. Slider misses up, and he works a walk here. Second walk of the day for Stills on the mound. First here in the second with 1 away. Winnipesaukee has a runner on first for Braden Cooney.
Yeah, it looked like Stills was going to that slider a couple times and just missed up a couple of times.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He missed up and then he missed also down low, but he got the slider to swing at it. So he's kind of having trouble with that slider so far.
Maybe struggling with control a little bit. Somewhat similar to Torbert. This fastball misses low. And inside 1-0. But he's still trying to sequence his pitches just like Torbert with that fastball slider mix for Torbert on the other end, fastball curve. Not leaning heavily on one pitch or the other just yet. Righty on lefty matchup for Stills on the mound. Runner on first. 1 away for the Muskrats. This one's going to be grounded off of Cooney's leg and foul, so 1-1.
Yeah, and going back to the point of sequencing, especially early in this game where both pitchers are trying to figure out which one is going to be the go-to pitch, and they both have struggled. So sometimes with that, when your fastball you're not hitting your spots with that, you go to, for Torbert's case, is curveball, and Stills' case is slider. And if you're going to be more accurate with that, then that's your go-to pitch. So you really just got to see which one is you're more comfortable with throwing in the game.
Stills looking on the 1-1. Out of the stretch, working from the first base side of the rubber. Delivers a 1-1 fastball, missing low. 2-1.
Cooney comes in batting .217 on the season. A couple games ago, he did hit his first home run.
He hit .298 this spring for UConn Avery Point. .455 on base as this one can be popped back into the screen. 2-2 with .574 slugging. So hits for average, got on base at a high clip, and also had a high slugging percentage as well. So for UConn Avery Point, it's kind of one of the guys that did it all.
Yeah, and it was an absolute moonshot in his the loss against Vermont. It was an absolute bomb, and he's now, this whole entire team can hit. One of 10 Muskrats so far on this season have hit a home run.
Now there's 2-2 misses inside, so count now full for Stills on the mound. These two pitchers, like we've mentioned, kind of mirroring each other so far here today. Stills on the 3-2. Can be flown into right. Walker going back towards the wall along his right, next to the light pole, and Haskin calls him off and catches it for out number 2. But we're talking about how tricky this field can be played, and we talked about, you know, how it jets out there from center to right field and how that light pole can be tough to play. Luckily for Walker, Haskin came over as a center fielder should if he thinks he has to play, and called him off to make the play.
Yeah, because as a right fielder, that's one of those where it looks like you might be able to make the play, and then all of a sudden you're out of room because that fence is there. And obviously center fielder always should have the main priority, so good communication there from the Gulls outfielders.
So two-way now in the second. Runner on first still for Winnipesaukee. Jonathan Crimmin settles in at the plate. Righty on righty matchup for Stills on the mound. Stills delivers fastball that's going to be lined down left field line, curling into the bullpens. Rounding second is Conti. Now he's going to get the green light to go home, and he will score easily as the throw is now just getting sent in. And I think they're actually going to rule a ground rule double because it went into the corner of the bullpens. And so Conti is going to get sent back to third base.
And that's a tough break there for the Muskrats. As it looked like John Kremlin was about to bring in his second RBI on the season, but good for him. It's only his third hit on the season. He was struggling. Only 2 hits coming in today, batting .083. But a rip shot down that left field line for his third hit in the season.
Well, yeah, it was a great piece of hitting. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. Got buried over there into the corner, but unfortunate that, of course, you got so many guys over there in the bullpens. But you have to stick him somewhere, and so that is the rule. Ground rule double for now Nate Vigiant at the plate. He's going to ground this one over to Joey Bellini. He takes a tough hop, and he can't come away with it cleanly, and so the run does score for Winnipesaukee. They take a 1-0 lead off of that hit for the Muskrats. RBI single for Nate Vigiant.
It's a good piece of hitting there by Vision. You know, you got a runner on third. Really all you got to do is put it past the pitcher, and a runner should be scoring if you get that on the ground. So the Muskrats draw first blood in this game.
That will bring up Austin Davis as the lineup flips over for the Muskrats. Runners on the corners with 2 away. First pitch slider on the outside edge. 0-1.
And for Vigiant, that's now his 4th RBI on the season.
Tough hop for Bellini over there at short as it kind of met the grass and then jumped up on him. As now this one's going to be flown into right. Coming in is Walker, and it's going to land just in front of him. That will score another run for the Muskrats. Throw to third in time, and they're going to call him out at third. Great throw from Walker to end the inning. But the Muskrats do score 2. Heading in to the bottom of the second, Gulls trail here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second here at Cardines as the Gulls trail the Muskrats 2-0. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. Ryan Tours settles in for the Gulls. First baseman of Villanova. First pitch to Tours. Swung on and missed. 0-1. Tours hitting .273 for Newport this summer with 4 doubles to his name. So he watches this 0-1 pitch miss outside. 1-1. Tours hit .203 this spring for Villanova with a .378 on base. Now this 1-1. Fouled back into the screen. 1-2.
And the Muskrats find themselves in a situation that really on the season they haven't been too familiar with it, and they have a lead early on in this game as they now were able to collect those 2 runs in the top half of the second.
Now the 1-2 to Tours. Pitch misses up and away. What a great snag from Levins there. Nearly ripped his arm off.
Yeah, Torber just lost grip on that one. You can see he's trying to gain that in his fingers.
Now the 2-2 to Tours. He's going to fly into right, but coming in is Cooney for out number 1.
Cooney playing extremely shallow out there in right field. That looked like that was easily going to be down for a base hit.
Well, I thought so too. But that is a product, only 285 down the line and right, so that is a product of the right field. Sometimes the right fielders are in a little bit more than normal than at least you'd expect in another field that's a little bit deeper. So now Zaid Walker settles in. First pitch, curveball. Walker watched it drop into the zone, 0-1. But you see that a lot of times they have to hold runners up at third that might actually score in another ballpark. So now this 0-1 curve is going to be popped straight up into shallow center. Going back as both middle infielders for Winnipesaukee, but Conti comes away with it for out number 2. But because because the outfielders play so much shallower here, can't score as many runs sometimes if the ball's hit out there.
Yeah, that's adjustment that visiting teams got to be aware of, because like you said, Steve, a normal situation they're going to be sending them, so you got to be aware of that it's not always going to be that case. That outfielder playing shallow is going to have a better chance to gun you out at home.
Now this first pitch curveball misses low and away to Joey Bellini. Shortstop of Cincinnati hit .298 this spring for the Bearcats. He watches this 1-0 curveball miss low once again. 2-0. Led the team in average, led the team in doubles. So now this 290, Joey Bellini lines this one into left over a jumping Davis. Bellini rounding first, and he'll be aboard second with a stand-up double.
Well, he absolutely smoked that one on a line to left field. Good effort there by Davis to try and dive up and snag it, but it's going to be a 2-out double for the Newport Gulls.
Well, I tell you what, I almost thought Davis came away with that.
Yeah, he definitely tracked it well off the bat. It looked like he was in the right position to get it, just sailed over his head.
So that is Bellini's second double of the year. And with 2 away and a runner in scoring position, that will bring up Greg Cavalieri for the Gulls.
And 2 outs isn't necessarily been on the side for the Muskrats. All 4 runs Sanford had scored in yesterday's game all came with 2 outs.
Now his first pitch to Cavalieri in there for strike 1. Cavalieri is switch hitter, but does prefer the left-handed side, where he is batting from right now. Righty on lefty matchup for Torbert on the mound. 2-0, the Muskrats lead the Gulls. Oh, one pitch going to be flown into right, and it's going to drop in front of Cooney. They're going to send Bellini home. The throw to the plate, not going to be in time, so Bellini scores. The throw to second is in time, and Cavalieri is caught out, but the run will score. And so heading in to the third, the Gulls trail 2-1.
Fans, this is a reminder that this copywritten...
Top of the third here in Newport. The Muskrats lead the Gulls 2-1. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. As Jake Coro settles in for Winnipesaukee. Mckenzie Stills on the mound for the Gulls. First pitch. This is up and away for ball one.
Coro lined out and back in the first. Had that check swing that went right at the third baseman, Malloy.
Now this 1-0 misses up 2-0. Coro on the day, as you said, 0 for 1. Half swing, line drive over to Malloy. Now big swing and a miss at a fastball up in the zone, probably above the zone for strike one.
Yeah, aggressive swing there from Coro. I mean, 2-0. Usually you want to wait back, and if it's your pitch, then swing. That wasn't exactly the best pitch for Coro to swing at.
Now this 2-1 misses low and away, gets away from Jones into the backstop. So count now 3-1 to Coro. Coro, if he gets on base, dangerous runner for Winnipesaukee. We talked about it a little bit earlier. 11 stolen bases already on the year as he watches this pitch miss up for ball 4. Third walk of the day for Stills on the mound. That's the 9th walk Coro's drawn on the year. Leads the team.
Yeah, he's patient at the bat. Sometimes you'll see it aggressive in the first pitch, but he's got really good, he's got a really keen eye, being able to draw those walks and get himself on base. So I mean, he came in batting 184. However, he finds himself to get on base without getting those hits. Those walks are.
So we saw the Muskrats run earlier. Now their best base runner is on first as this first pitch misses up, ball 1. Of course, now they have 24 stolen bases on the year. Coro has 11 of them. As Cochran settles in at the plate, 1-0 count to the designated hitter. Righty on lefty matchup for Stills on the mound. Throws over to first. Tours leaning to his left. Able to glove it, no tag applied, so Coro back safely.
Coro does get probably one of the bigger leads that you'll see out of a base runner. Sometimes come back to bite him. He has gotten picked off earlier on the season. Was picked off actually at second base, not even first.
He is getting a bigger lead, and they throw over once again. There's a tag applied this time, but he is back safely once again. Of course, Stills a righty on the mound, so that pickoff does take a little bit longer, so Coro might get a little bit longer of a lead at first. Now Stills looking on the 1-0. This is outside. 2-0.
And Coro kind of looking like he fakes like he's going to steal, and then he stops and turns back and just gets a normal secondary lead. Certainly trying to get into Mckenzie Stills' head a little bit.
Well, Stills on the 2, a big swing and a miss from Cochran. 2-1. Cochran on the year, 275 with 5 doubles and 3 home runs. This spring hit 279 for Eckerd College.
Got himself on base all 5 plate appearances yesterday. 3 for 3 day with a couple of walks for the left-handed center fielder.
He is the designated hitter tonight. This pitch misses behind Cochran, so essentially walking to second is Coro. A light jog over.
Now that ball after that pitch really took a hard carom off the backstop. I wouldn't be jogging to second if I were him.
Well, with his speed, it looked like a light jog, nearly a walk. He is aboard second easily. So runner in scoring position with no outs for the Muskrats as they lead the Gulls 2-1 here in the top of the third. So 3-1 count to the designated hitter in Cochran. Misses up once again. So ball 4, 2 straight walks to begin the inning for Stills on the mound. 4th of the day.
This is an opportunity for the Muskrats to extend on their lead. Back-to-back walks to start off the third. And nobody out here.
We're going to see Greg Zackerson, the Gulls pitching coach, go out to the mound. Talk things over with Mckenzie Stills. Probably just calm him down a little bit, as we saw with Torbert as he met with Levens in the first after he gave up back-to-back walks.
You just want to go and see where his mindset's at, try and settle him down. Obviously, a dangerous hitter in Norman, so it's one of those situations where, yes, you want to be throwing strikes, but you don't want to give him anything over the plate, and where Norman could do some serious damage with it.
Stills is a guy that is his first start. Started the year very well against Keene and has had great relief appearances for the Gulls. But so you wonder if maybe nerves are getting to him, but just some control issues here today, it seems. But maybe just some nerves here today, and you don't want it to get away from him as he's walked 2 guys in a row. So the meeting on the mound has commenced as Zackerson goes back to the dugout. Terrence Norman at the plate for the Muskrats. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first. This is one of the star bats for Winnipesaukee, though, so not an easy out for Stills on the mound. Righty on righty matchup for Stills. He delivers first pitch, fastball missing inside, 1-0.
And now that he's thrown another ball with the back-to-back batters, I think if you're Terrence Norman, your approach kind of has to be take until you see a strike. Stills has struggled with command, so you want to just see that first strike and then kind of reset and get ready for your bat.
Now Stills looking on out of the stretch. It's over at second. Delivers the 1-0. It's going to be grounded up the middle. Bellini fields, and it's going to get by him. He can't field it cleanly, so rounding third is Colro, and moving up to third on the play is Cochran as Winnipesaukee plates another run. They take a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, got lucky there. The play there by a hard hit ground ball by Norman. But Bellini just not able to square up against it. Had to shift over to his left, went right in between the legs, it looked like. Able to score and run, so the Muskrats now have a 3-1 lead. Runners on the corners with no one out here in the third.
And exactly the situation you want to be in if you're Winnipesaukee. No outs in the third, as you said, with a 2-run lead. So this first pitch to Tatum Levens catches the bottom edge of the zone. 0-1.
Levens swinging a hot bat, so this middle of the order can definitely do some damage with these runners on base.
Now the 0-1 to Levens. Long swing and a miss. 0-2.
That was a big swing. He was looking to put that one over the right field fence with that one.
Yeah, and then some, maybe a couple houses on top of it.
Yeah.
Levens on the day 0 for 1, flew out to left in his only plate appearance, right to Greg Cavalieri. Getting 250 so far for Winnipesaukee as he watches. So 2 pitch miss, just low and away. 1-2.
First and third here. Norman doesn't have exceptional speed, so not sure if a stolen base would be in play here, but when you have runners in the corners, always got to be in the back of the mind.
Now the 1-2 slider. This is inside, backs up Levens off the plate. Nice block from Jones, able to glove it cleanly. Count now even at 2.
Second time tonight, Stills has done that with that slider. A few batters ago, we did the same thing.
Now Stills looking on righty on lefty matchup. On the 2-2, fastball, half-hearted swing from Levens for strike 3. So 1 away here in the third, second strikeout of the day for Stills on the mound. That will bring up Phil Conti.
Yeah, not sure what that swing was from Levens. Looks like he decided late to get a swing, but when you don't fully commit to it, you never, and good outcome is never going to be the result.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he's just trying to stay alive at the plate, decided a little bit too late, but knew he had to battle. But at that point, you're right, not a good outcome that's going to happen because of hesitation. So that first pitch slider drops into the zone for strike 1 against Conti.
Conti reached base last inning with the walk, one of 4 walks in the day issued by Mckenzie Stills.
Eddie later came around to score first run of the day for Winnipesaukee. Now the 0-1 from Stills. Another slider swung through. 0-2.
With back-to-back sliders here, you gotta imagine that Stills probably gonna go with a fastball outside the strike zone. Try and see if he can get Conti to chase.
Stills looking on. Still runners on the corners with one away for the Muskrats. This pitch misses low and away. Another nice block from Jones. 1-2.
Yeah, Norman didn't think that ball got far enough away from Jones. With one of those, Jones doing a good job keeping it in front of it. Did kick to on the side, and I think that's one of those that if you're a runner, as soon as that kicks away from the catcher, you have to be taken off. Otherwise, you just got to retreat back to the bag.
Yeah, that's one of those, like you said, you have to take off or you have to retreat. Any hesitation, and then you kind of eliminated your chance of going. Now this one's going to be popped up in the shallow left. Going back is Bellini, and he's there for out number 2. Runner is tagging to the plate. Throw there is in time for out number 3. So a 6-2 double play to end the inning. But the Muskrats do plate 1 in the third, heading into the bottom of the third. It's 3-1, Gulls trailing here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fans, the NECBL's Broadcast Network brings all of the action right to your home every night. Available.
Bottom of the third here in Newport. The Gulls trail the Muskrats 3-1. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And Nick, you talked about it at the top of the broadcast. Now we're in the third inning. Take us through the NECBL and fill us in on what's happening around the league.
Thank you, Steve. We got 2-0 Upper Valley over North Adams at the bottom of the 5th. 6-1 Vineyard over Mystic in the top of the 5th. 2-0 New Bedford top 4 over Sanford. No score of Ocean State and Vermont.
Now this first pitch to Scott Holzwasser, catching the corner low and away. 0-1.
And 6-1 Valley over Keene in the bottom of the third. So, Stephen, these standings could be shaking up a little bit more here
Could be
tonight.
shaking up as you see New Bedford might get a win against the other division team. This 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. 0-2. Might help them out a little bit. And, of course, still no score in the Ocean State game. Now this 0-2 pitch misses outside. 1-2.
You know, a surprising one for me is 6-1 Vineyard over Mystic in the top of the 5th.
Yeah. Makes it tougher for those Southern Division teams, of course, like the one we're seeing here today, your Newport Gulls. As this swung on and miss from Holzwasser, throw down to first in time as once again his helmet falls off. That's a +1 to the Holzwasser helmet off counter that we've been tracking here this year.
We had 4 the other night, so let's see if he can beat his personal best.
So second strikeout of the day for Torbert, and there's one away here in the third as Chris Hamilton settles in at the plate. Hamilton worked a walk in his only plate appearance so far. So he's going to ground this one over to the first base side. Falling to the ground is Crimmin, throwing over to first. And in time for a covering Torbert, who also went to the ground. That's an unorthodox out.
Take it any way you can get. Crimmin's not a normal infielder. He usually plays outfield. He's struggled a little bit at first base this season, but a great stab by him. I think the defensive player of the year in terms of what Crimmin's been able to do.
Well, it was spectacular nonetheless. That first pitch to Haskin, curveball in there for strike 1.
Yeah, he struggled with that backhand a lot, so I think for him that's probably one of the better plays he's made this season.
Now that 0-1 fastball catches the corner low and away. 0-2. And how about the effort from Torbert? Stumbling on a throw down. That was almost at his feet, and then putting his palm on the bag to get the out. Now this 0-2 is going to be grounded foul along the third base line.
Yeah.
As you said, any way you can get it, he'll take it.
And that's commitment by Torbert because you're running the risk of getting a spike right into the back of your hand for the guy with that runner. So
that's risky, but it worked out for him. Bottom of the third, 2 away. 0-2. Fouled back. count remains.
And we haven't mentioned it, but the Muskrats running into the third out last inning with the pop up to the shortstop, and Sam Cochran elect to tag up from
Yeah,
third.
how about that? Almost catching him sleeping. Almost beat the throw to the plate, but it's a risky move. The 0-2 pitch misses just low and away. 1-2.
Cochran has exceptional speed, but you've got to have almost like Billy Hamilton speed if you're going to tag up from third on a pop up to a shortstop.
That is not your typical sacrifice fly, but the Muskrats went for it. So this 1-2 curveball misses up 2-2.
And you said they were aggressive on the base paths at the start of the game, but I didn't think they were that aggressive.
Oh, unfortunately, I do know it all too well, and it's worked both positively and, as we just saw, negatively for the Muskrats.
Now the 2-2. Another curveball lined over at third, and a nice diving play from Coro to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls in the third. Heading into the fourth, the Muskrats lead the Gulls 3-1 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Top of the fourth here at Cardines. Winnipesaukee leads Newport 3-1. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And since it is the fourth inning, I'm going to hand it over to my broadcast counterpart, Brian Murphy. Brian, take it away.
Thank you very much, Steven. So top of the fourth, Newport starter Mckenzie Stills back out on the mound for the fourth inning of work. He has been roughed around a little bit in the last 2 innings. Walks has been an issue for him, but he's going to face the bottom third of the Muskrat lineup. It'll be Braden Cootie to lead things off, followed by Jonathan Crimmin and Nate Vigian. Cooney stepping in. He is 0 for 1 on the day, flew out in his first at-bat. Cooney, the left-hander, native of Southington, Connecticut. I mentioned played junior college this spring for UConn Avery Point. Stills working out of the windup. First pitch. That one's going to miss for ball one, down low.
And we talked about, he's a guy that hit for average for UConn Avery Point, but also a lot of power, and you said his home run. A lot of power behind it. You said it was an absolute moonshot.
He's going to rip that one to center, and that's going to be down for a base hit. First hit of the day for Cooney, and the leadoff man is aboard for the Muskrats here in the fourth.
And you could just tell by his frame. A lot of power that he generates from his legs as he swings. And even on that single in the crack of the bat, that's really where all his power derives from. And he can tap into that power the more he uses his legs throughout his swing. And based on the home run that you're describing, I think there's a lot of potential in Cooney.
Yeah, Cooney's got a good frame, 6'3", 215. And another larger Muskrat is going to be Jonathan Crimmin. Crimmin 1 for 1, had that double that it looked like it could have been an RBI, but Phil Conti had to go back to third as it was ruled an RBI double, or ground rule double, I should say. That one's going to get ripped to left field. Striding on over and underneath it and making the catches, Cavallari for out number 1.
So it seemed like a hard hit ball off the bat. I know it was a fly out, but 2 straight at bats for Winnipesaukee that they're kind of jumping on Stills and putting good contact on the ball. Might be their chance already up 3-1 to kind of jump on Newport in this inning.
Yeah, they've jumped all over his fastball. Haven't seen too much contact with Stills' slider.
The slider's still working for him.
Yes.
Especially, he's kind of gone to it with 2 strikes as well.
We've mentioned at points he has struggled a little bit with control, but if guys are going to be swinging over that slider,
might see him start off at bats with it.
Exactly. First pitch is going to get grounded up the middle, fielded, and out up with bobbling in it is Holzwasser, so everyone's going to be safe. It's going to be an error to the second baseman, Holzwasser, as I think he was already thinking about stepping and completing a double play before he even had 1 out.
Yeah, that was a tough one from Holzwasser. Uncharacteristic from Holzwasser. That might be his first error on the season, and that's coming off a game where really everything hit to him was swallowed up. He was a vacuum out there at second base and made it sweet. Incredible diving play in center field, a twisting and turning, spinning play where he's falling down in right field. So uncharacteristic play from him when he could have tossed it to Bellini or taken it himself.
Austin Davis squaring around but pulls back as he looks at ball one from Stills.
And there's already been one earned run for Winnipesaukee here today because of the goals errors defensively. Now another error here in this inning, and that's really been a problem for Newport this season. 28 errors coming into tonight. That's the most in the NECBL, and it's led to 15 unearned runs on the season.
Davis squares around, bunts it. Stills will field it, toss it over to first base to retire Davis. However, he does bunt the 2 runners over, so 2 men in scoring position with 2 outs, and it's going to be Jake Coro up.
And so those errors have kind of come back to bit the goals in the past, as you can see in evidence of those 15 unearned runs, especially in close games like this. Only 3-1 right now, but one of those are unearned, and another possible unearned run coming up later. But in close games, you just can't afford that.
Yeah, and for the Muskrats, they know that one all too well. A number of games were decided. They had one game, Martha's Vineyard, 7 errors.
Yeah.
Defense just was not clicking that day. So it'll be Jake Coro. He's going to rip that one just foul down the first base side.
But at the same point, a lot of those errors were early on in the season, and so the improvements are coming. But it's tough because it seems, 7 errors in one day, as you said. Some days it's just not their day. And just as hitting is contagious, sometimes, errors or mistakes can be contagious too. And it's almost better to get them all out in one day than to have them spread out over multiple games.
Exactly, kind of just get them all over at once. Swinging a fastball, it's going to get tipped into the glove, so quickly down 0-2 is the left-handed hitting Coro.
And nice job from Stills here. Had a couple of errors defensively behind him, but able to stick with it mentally, because that can be tough as a pitcher, but with 2 runners in scoring position already ahead in this count 0-2, working through it and still trying to get out of the jam.
Chance to come away unscathed as Stills. Here comes the payoff pitch. That's going to miss up high. Wasted pitch there from Stills. Going to get Coro to chase.
Not to mention also, he's really turned it around for the first couple innings here.
Yeah, trying to, settle into that groove. And we saw that from Brian Gursky against Valley up in the north. Struggled at the beginning, but then after, 3 innings, settled into a groove in the 4th and the 5th. Then the bullpen came in and the Gulls were able to get a win.
Swing and a miss. Good slider there from Stills, and he cuts away from the threat. We're going to head to the bottom of the 4th. Still, Winnipesaukee leading Newport 3-1. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. Well, the Newport Gulls find themselves down 3-1 still as they'll look to tie this one up. It'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters as Hayden Jones, the catcher for the Gulls, will get things started. Luke Torbert comes back out after recording a 1-2-3 third inning. Jones flew out to Austin Davis in his first at-bat. Fastball, it's going to be in low. Missed for ball 1.
Hayden Jones, the guy from Mississippi State, just made his debut on Wednesday. They like a lot of power that he brings to the plate.
That fastball is going to miss up high, so starting off 2-0 the count. It looked like Torbert, we mentioned, both starting pitchers struggled early with command. Seemed that Torbert kind of shook that in the 3rd inning, but not a hot start here. It's 3 straight balls now. 3-0 count to Hayden Jones.
Yeah, tough start, as you mentioned, for Torbert here in the 4th. After it looked like, you're right, he shook it in the 3rd. And so now, expect even on a 3-0 to Jones be taking all the way.
Deep breath from Torbert. And he's going to miss for ball 4, so a leadoff walk to get things started for the Newport Gulls. The 3rd walk issued on the day by Torbert. And that'll be Justin Henry Malloy, the 3rd baseman for the Newport Gulls. Malloy out of Vanderbilt. Came into the day batting .333. First pitch from Torbert. Curveball is going to be in there for strike 1.
You've seen, it's not just Justin here in this at-bat. We've seen it from Hudson Haskin. We've seen it from, I think it was Joey Bellini, Zaid Walker. We've seen it from almost every goal batter in this lineup. That curveball, it looks like, you're right, coming at them and around the letters. and then it just drops right into the zone as they back off the plate.
It's a fastball. It's going to get fouled up and out of play. So good response from Torbert after the leadoff walk. He's up 0-2 on Malloy.
And that curveball, especially, it really might be his best pitch, but starting off at bats with it can be such an advantage for Torbert.
Can really have come back and utilize that fastball much more effectively than normal. Runner goes, swing and a miss. As down goes Malloy for the second time today. Gets him on the curveball.
And it's interesting because then Levens is asking for interference from Malloy, who after he struck out walked in front of the plate as Levens was throwing over to second. He's not going to get the call for interference, but you noticed it wasn't a picture-perfect throw from Levens down at second, but that's what Levens was arguing with the home plate umpire there.
And Levens doesn't agree with the call, but however, the first out of the bottom of the fourth, and now a runner on second for Ryan Tours. First pitch to Tours, swing and a miss on a fastball, down and in. 0-1 the count. So a runner in scoring position for the Gulls, as that is Jones standing on second.
Tours a guy with a lot of natural power. Most of his doubles have gone into left field, actually, able to spray it around just about anywhere in the field.
Another fastball inside gets Tours to chase and miss, so 0-2 the count now to the left-handed hitting first baseman.
But now he's falling behind in this count. Might just try to battle back into it and just make contact into it.
We'll see if we see the curveball from Torbert. There's 2 straight fastballs in this at-bat so far. That's a fastball. It's just going to miss upstairs. Try to get him a little.
But you're right. I mean, you would naturally expect the curveball there from 2 straight fastballs, and so it's a chess match out there where maybe Tours was expecting the curve, and the fastball might almost be a better option there.
So it'll be 1 ball, 2 strike to Tours. There's that curveball. It's going to get hit to left field. Davis taking a few strides underneath it and will make the catch for the second out of the inning.
And it's interesting because even on that piece of hitting there, Tours saw a long fly ball into left field. That's the natural power we've been talking about. And even though it was an out, he was showcasing some of that opposite field power.
Good job picking up the curveball there. I mean, I don't think a single Gull has really been able to pick it up today, but is able to pick up the spin, take it where it was given, goes opposite field, but just too much into the direction of Austin Davis. So 2 outs. Runner still on second as Zaid Walker steps in. First pitch to Walker is going to get grounded over to the third base side. Conti fields, fires, and retires this side. So despite a leadoff walk given up by Torbert, he bounces back with 3 straights out. We'll head to the 5th inning. Winnipesaukee still leading Newport 3-1. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. Back here at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island, as the matchup between the Winnipesaukee Muskrats and the Newport Gulls. 3-1 in favor of the Muskrats. And it's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Sam Cochran will get things leading off. Brian Murphy, the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, alongside me, Stephen Howe, the voice of the Newport Gulls. And Stephen, we've seen both of these pitchers lose the command a little bit, but as we're getting into these later innings, they seem to sort of settle down a little bit.
Yeah, both are looking to find that groove after kind of a rough start. Not too rough, obviously. You know, it's not a double-digit run game or anything, but they were struggling to find the zone, and now they are settling in a little bit. Both of them 3 strikeouts on the day. The walk totals aren't anything too insane yet, and neither team is, batting around the lineup. Both are sequencing pitches, which is something we looked at the top of the broadcast. Still, both of them are sequencing pitches well and forcing somewhat weak contact. And so both of them are kind of settling into that groove and finding their rhythm on the mound, and both going into their 5th inning of work. And that's exactly what both coaches would have signed up for at the beginning of the day.
Exactly. So Mckenzie Stills ran into a little bit of a jam last inning. 2 runners in scoring position with only 2 outs, however, so he's able to retire on the strikeout to Jake Coro. So it's Sam Cochran that steps in. He's 0 for 1 on the day. grounded out to first as well as walked. That one's going to get ripped down the right field line, but well out of play foul. Cochran got all of that one, but pulled that just too much over to the right side.
And I think this is where it's going to be tested for Stills on the mound. This is the second time through the lineup, and third time through the lineup, excuse me. And you're facing, the heart of the order for, the real meat of the order for Winnipesaukee. And they already have a 3-1 lead. So this is where you're really tested if you're Stills.
That's going to get ground out. One hopper over there, bobbled by Bellini. And that's going to be the lead base runner. And that's a tough play over there for Bellini to make. A one hopper right at him. As he's had a little bit of a rough day over there. We've seen a number of ones that he's bobbled. But the leadoff man is on, Cochran, and so Terrence Norman's going to step up to the plate.
Yeah, and you got to feel for Bellini. Short, obviously, a tough play to make, but it just seems like he can't find his footing just yet. Had a couple of tough plays, and of course had the one error earlier, but just when it's not your night, the bats just aren't friendly, and they're going to find you out there too with some of the tougher plays to make.
So as a result, Cochran will be on first. Terrence Norman is up, who's reached on that error by Bellini and brought in Jake Coro for that third run for the Muskrats. Norman won't be credited with the RBI. Cochran on first with exceptional speed. Stolen base certainly in play in this situation to put him in scoring position. That was going to get fouled back. So now it's a 1-1 count to Norman. And Cochran, when he was on the base pass, he was the one that was on third. That pop fly from Conti to the shortstop Bellini. Cochran tried to catch him sleeping and try to tag up and score, and he was thrown out in quite a bit of time. It wasn't even that close of a play.
It was an interesting call.
Aggressive on the base pass. Mike Miller and his crew likes to go. Cochran's going. Check swing. He's going to miss, and he's going to be in there safely down at third, as not able to apply the tag quick enough was Holzwasser.
Yeah, and this is Hayden Jones' first, day behind the plate for Newport, and so Winnipesaukee, aggressive on the base pass, and they're testing the new catcher out there for the Gulls. That throw just a little bit to the right of Holzwasser at second, so the tag couldn't be applied in time.
So 2 balls, 1 strike to Norman, with now a runner in scoring position. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss there on the slider from Stills, so it evens the count at 2.
Yeah, that's kind of been his go-to pitch when he's gotten into trouble today, and been really the pitch that Winnipesaukee hasn't been able to jump on, just as the curve has been for Torbert. So with a 2-2 count, it'll be interesting to see if he comes back with the slider or the fastball here.
So Norman getting himself ready in the batter's box. Stills looks into Jones. Gets his pitch. The 2-2 delivery. Check swing doesn't go around. It looked like the slider again from Stills, just too far outside.
It was a slider, and it was in a similar spot, but you're right, just a little bit more outside than the last one. And Norman was able to lay off this one, so count now full. A little bit tougher situation for Stills. Now going to have to come either in the zone or much closer to it.
3 balls, 2 strikes to the center fielder of the Muskrats, Terrence Norman. That one's going to get ripped to right field. Going back, looking up, and that's going to be off the wall, and I think it should be ruled as a home run.
I'm with you on this one. It looked like it hit the netting, not the top of the wall, and the home plate umpire is now ruling a home run.
It wasn't that. It hit about midway through the netting, I'm pretty sure.
As the umpires are going to discuss this, it did look like it hit off that base of the netting just above the fencing, and as the rules are here at Cardinals Field, it hits that netting, that should be a home run. Terrence Norman's going to come and take his trot all the way, and he's heading back to the dugout.
And so for the visiting fans that are watching or listening to the broadcast, the fences here at Cardines are 28 feet high, but in right field there is an extension of the netting above the fencing that goes up to 41 feet. The rule is of that netting, if it hits the netting, it is still a home run. That netting is there just to protect the houses beyond the 28 feet high fence in right field. So if it hits the net, it is still a home run, and they are ruling it a home run, as they should.
So it's the second home run on the season for Terrence Norman. A 2-run shot extends Winnipesaukee lead to 5-1, and it looks like Mckenzie Stills' day is going to be completed. As the call to the bullpen for the Newport Gulls. They're going to bring in a new pitcher here in the 5th. So we'll take it to a quick break. We'll get all the new pitcher, and we'll wrap up Mckenzie Stills' day. But Winnipesaukee and Terrence Norman extend the lead to 5-1. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. So with Mckenzie Stills' day complete for the Newport Gulls, the new pitcher is going to be Michael Sansone, the lefty out of Fairfield University. And Stephen, what do we got for a scouting report on Sansone?
Yeah, Mike Sansone has been kind of the go-to guy for Newport out of the bullpen so far this season. Tonight will be his 5th appearance on the mound for the Gulls. He has a 1-0 record for Newport already. Still has an ERA of 0 on the season through 8 1/3 innings pitched. He obviously has not given up a run, has just given up 2 hits on the season, has not walked anybody, and has 13 strikeouts to his name.
So he comes in with the Gulls down 5-1 as Terrence Norman's 2-run blast ended Stills' day and made this a 5-1 game. First batter he'll have to face is Tatum Levins, and that one looks like it's going to go off the knob of the bat.
And, you know, ERA is interesting to look at in this league, and that can change so much, but I really like to look at what opponents are hitting off of pitchers. I think that gives a more, accurate look at how pitching staffs and pitchers are doing.
So Stills' day, he goes 4+, giving up 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And he is so far in line for a loss if Winnipesaukee is able to hold on to the lead. Fastball is going to miss high to Levins.
But with Sansone, what I was getting to with the opponent batting average, teams are just hitting .074 off of him. And so he's been a guy that really doesn't get hit off of at all. Been absolutely electric for Newport.
He's going to chop that one over to Sansone. Sansone fielded it. Tosses it on over for the first out here in the 5th inning.
As you can see, he forces some weak contact there. Hides the ball really well when he's pitching out of the stretch. Has electric stuff. Really good fastball slider mix. He's a guy that can go multiple innings out of the bullpen. Can just go short innings if you need him and really go all out. And what I love about Sansone, I think this is characteristics of a really good pitcher. Not afraid to pitch inside either. I think that adds a lot of confidence to a pitcher because it gives you the whole plate.
First pitch, swing and a miss from Phil Conti as he's getting his first looks of the day against Sansone. Conti 0 for 1 on the day, had a walk and also popped out to the shortstop Bellini. Swing and a miss there, an inside fastball from Sansone, and quickly up in the count is the southpaw for Newport, 0-2.
Yeah, and that's him working inside. Like I said, a lot of pitchers at this level and even levels above this in college aren't ready to work inside on hitters, and I understand that because if the control is not there, you shouldn't work inside.
Swing and a miss, and Sansone records his first strikeout of the day, getting Conti down. As now it's going to bring up with 2 outs, Braden Cooney, another lefty-on-lefty matchup here for Sansone.
But what gives Sansone that great advantage on the mound is he does have really great control with his arsenal of pitches, and so you don't know if he's coming inside, you don't know if he's going outside. On top of his, great pitches on the mound, and so that ability to work really wherever on the plate.
First pitch is going to miss in the dirt to Cooney.
Makes him one of the more dangerous pitchers and one of the more live arms coming out of the Newport bullpen.
And he's not overly big. I mean, he's listed at
He's really
5'8",
yeah.
so he's
That's
one
a
of
little
the shorter.
generous.
Exactly. One of the shortest guys on this Newport team. Remember, what he lacks in size, he makes up for in pitching ability. And that ball's going to miss, so 2-0 to Cooney.
But he can work inside, outside, lower in the zone, isn't afraid to come up as well. He changes eye level of the hitters extremely well.
Finds himself down in this at-bat. Big swing and a miss there from Cooney, and so it's 2 balls, 1 strike. So Sansone looking to retire the Muskrats 1-2-3 after coming in to pitch for Mckenzie Stills. Gets the sign, and they're going to call time as Jones, the catcher, asks for timeout to the home plate umpire. So again, 2 balls, 1 strike. That one's going to be inside. Just going to miss on Cooney.
But you saw Cooney already having to start his swing nearly to get on top of Sansone. But then it was inside, so he had to awkwardly kind of back off the plate there. But that's actually caught some hitters, with some awkward check swings and going around at pitches that really weren't even close to the zone.
3-1 pitch. That one's going to get ripped into right field. That'll be down for a base hit. Braden Cooney has himself his 2nd single on the day.
Yeah, nice hit there for Cooney as he got the barrel around that one over the heart of the plate. And you're right, having himself a day. A pair of singles already for Cooney. And you look at, where's this success coming from in the Muskrats lineup? A lot of it's coming from the bottom 3 guys in the order. Cooney and now one of the guys at the plate, Crimmin, who doubled and came around to score in the 2nd.
So it will be Crimmin. The 2-out single by Cooney has him at first. Swing and a miss, and the fastball high from Sansone. So it's 0-1. Cooney takes his lead, not overly extensive. Swing and another miss on a fastball, so it's 0-2 to John Crimmin.
And once Sansone finds his rhythm, he's going to want to work quicker and quicker on the mound. Just trying to quicken up, make the hitters at the plate a little bit more uncomfortable as well.
So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. The pitch to Crimmin, swing and a miss. Sansone gets him down. However, the Muskrats chase Newport starter Mckenzie Stills with a 2-run shot by Terrence Norman, and they now take a 5-1 lead into the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Fan.
So the Newport Gulls will have a little bit of work to do with their bats as they now find themselves down 5-1 to the Winnipesaukee Muskrats. It'll be the number 9 hitter, Greg Cavalieri, to get things started. The left fielder for Newport does have a single on the day. There's a curveball in from Luke Torbert. He's in for strike 1.
And we talked about how these starters were kind of mirroring each other. This is Torbert's chance to put himself above Stills to start.
Fastball's in there for strike 2, so quickly up in the count is Torbert.
So we saw the Muskrats, as you said, run Stills out of the game in the top half of the 5th. Now Torbert has a chance to get through the 5th.
Curveball just a bit in the inside part of the plate, it looked like.
Oh, what a great pitch, though. I mean, he's come with that pitch to start a lot of at-bats, and it's been a great pitch, and nearly was able to get that one to drop in.
Fastball's going to miss low and outside, so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cavalieri.
He's throwing already 2 perfect curveballs to start this inning.
And I tell you what, after a rough start, he's retired 6 of the last 7.
Another curveball, that one's going to miss.
And every now and then, we've seen him, miss some pitches outside of the zone here and there and struggle with controls, but retiring 6 of the last 7, still mixing his pitches well. Torbert really has had a nice day.
There it is, curveball in there for strike 3. Cavalieri down looking.
And I tell you what, these Gulls hitters just have no answer for that curveball. I mean, that thing has looked fantastic all day. Look at where it starts. I mean, at the shoulders, nearly eye level of the Newport hitters, and it drops in. There is no chance in the Newport hitters' minds that it's going to drop into the zone, but every time it does, and squaring that up is nearly impossible.
Fastball from Torbert's going to miss up high. Torbert has been effective. He's only given up 2 hits so far. None in the last 2 innings plus.
But what I think is important is that 1-0 pitch that just missed up. It was a fastball, and even that pitch that was at the top of the zone that was just fouled 1-1. Both fastballs at the top of the zone. One was at the top of the zone for a strike, one missed up. But that's exactly the same spot where the curveball is, and then it drops. So he's tunneling his pitches well. They look the same coming out of the hand.
Exactly there. That just missed inside, but exactly what you were saying, Steven.
So coming out of the hand, they look the exact same. One drops into the zone, one stays up. As a hitter, you have no clue what is what.
There's a high fastball. It's going to be off the end of the bat. Stopped by Conti, but no play over there as that was deep in the hole. So it will be an infield single for Scott Holzwasser.
I tell you what, you know, Cavalieri there getting a hit, but it was off the end of the bat, and Torbert with his pitches, they're sequencing so well, and that's exactly what's going to be a product of that curveball. These Gulls hitters aren't going to be able to square that pitch up well, and they're going to force hits off the end of the bat, and Cavalieri was fortunate enough to get an infield single off of it, but if you're Torbert, you're not upset with that because you know it's a successful pitch. Keep going to it.
Cavalieri taking off. Fastball is going to miss high. The throw, it's going to be into center field. And advancing on over to third is going to be the number 9 hitter. As the throw from Levens, who we've seen a trend with Levens, he throws it down and it tails towards the right side of the bag. Tough play over there. Vigian can't recover and stop it from going into center field. And all the way over to third is Cavalieri.
Yeah, so Cavalieri, a guy that, you know, they like to send a lot, has a lot of speed, obviously, and so not surprising to see the Gulls send him here down 5-1. They want to get some, you know, runners moving. And, of course, the uncostly mistake from Levens. A little bit unfortunate if you're on the Winnipesaukee side, but for Newport, this is your chance now with the lineup as it flips over. This is your time to strike, especially as you see some action in the Winnipesaukee bullpen.
Well, it looks like it's Scott Malin who's warming up, who I believe that was supposed to be tagged as tomorrow's starter. That one's going to get popped up. That one's looking deep. Davis looking up. And that one, you can kiss it goodbye. A 2-run shot from Scott Holzwasser. And now the Newport Gulls creeping their way back. It's 5-3.
Scott Holzwasser getting one across the heart of the plate, able to extend his arms and get the barrel underneath it. He's got his first home run of the season as a Newport goal, and that will diminish the lead now just to 2 here at Cardine.
That was a shot to the left center gap. Just being able to get over that tall fence that we have at Cardine's field. So Torbert looking to bounce back after giving up the long ball, and he'll have to face Chris Hamilton.
He was Wednesday's player of the game and already trying to get Newport back in here tonight.
He's going to rip that one. That's going to go in, and Conti able to make the play. Great play by the Muskrats shortstop.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a tougher play than a lot of people might think it is. Conti having to track it while he's running away from where the ball is coming, track it over his shoulder, and still make the play as the ball's tailing away from him. As a shortstop, that's a really tough play to make. Kudos to Conti for coming away with that one.
And now to bring up the number 3 hitter, Hudson Haskin. Haskin 0 for 1 on the day with a line out and a walk. That one's going to get ripped to center field. Norman over and will make the catch. So the Newport Gulls able to slim the lead, cut it in half on the 2-run shot by Scott Holzwasser. We're going to head to the 6th inning. It's 5-3. Winnipesaukee leads over Newport. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. Michael Sansone back out on the mound for the Newport Gulls as the Gulls cut the Winnipesaukee lead in half. It's now a 5-3 game thanks to one swing and a bat from Scott Holzhauser as he was able to send the one deep to left center field for the 2-run shot.
And we got ourselves a little bit of a ball game here.
Yeah, I mean, when it starts, that's the beauty of the game of baseball is you get a couple of guys on, or even just 1 runner, 2 runners on, and one swing of a bat, it completely flips the dynamic of the game.
And I think what's cool is as the weather's heating up a little bit, we're starting to see the ball travel more and more. 2 home runs already today. I think against Mystic the other night we saw, a home run as well. And earlier in the week, at least last weekend, Newport hit a couple home runs. You mentioned Winnipesaukee. A lot of their production at the plate has been by virtue of a lot of these sluggers in the lineup, home runs. Exciting baseball. This is what the fans want.
Exactly. Always good to see the long ball. The Muskrats now have hit a home run in 7 out of the last 8 games. After really the power was non-existent through the first handful of games on the season, has all of a sudden come alive now. First pitch, Nate Vigian rips that one. Good diving stop there. Turning over, and what a play there by the second baseman, Holzwasser. Does it with the bat, then does it with the glove.
I mean, that guy, it's almost too routine for him at that point, and you almost expect him to make this play because he's done it several nights in a row, sliding, diving out into right field, and then standing up and spinning once again. It's almost a trademark move of Scott Holzwasser.
It's almost like you're watching a video game because he does it so often.
Oh, man.
So now it's going to be to Davis. That one's going to miss.
You almost expect him to get the guy out, too, at first, every single time. And he does.
And he one-ups himself with the home run in the bottom half of the 5th, and then went that play in the 6th.
That one's going to be in there to a strike. So Davis comes in. 1 for 1 on the day. He has a walk, a single, and a sacrifice bunt. Pitch from Sansone, swing and a miss, and the fastball from Davis finds himself down on the count 0-1-2.
And I think Sansone's another guy out there. Hides the ball well, but in a different way than Torbert. Torbert a little bit longer with his delivery and how he hides the ball. Sansone really quick with how he brings up the knee and then jerks kind of his arm back and hides it behind his back. And then really quick with his arm action as he delivers to the plate.
Time's going to be taken by Davis.
But with how quick he is with his movements as a hitter, there's not much time to really pick up the ball. And I think that kind of adds to how effective Sansone is on the mound.
1-2 pitch from Sansone. That was going to get ripped into the left center gap. Going over and able to make the catch is Haskin. Good read there by the center fielder for Newport.
And it was a nice piece of hitting from Davis as well, but I think a lot of these Newport pitchers are really fortunate with how much speed is in this Gulls outfield. You got Cavalieri, Haskin, and Walker, and all 3 of them, I mean, on the base pass or threats to go. All 3 of them, in high school are hold accolades for stolen bases. There's a ton of speed out there. I mean, those guys are probably the 3 fastest guys on Newport's team.
So now Coral will step in.
And so when you see that ball hit, I mean, it looks like it's almost going to fall into the gap, but Haskin glides over and makes it look like an easy out number 2. For these Newport pitchers, it's almost a gift each time to have those guys in the outfield.
In there, and that's going to be a strike 1. Yeah, Haskin got a good read on that, and in there plenty of time to get under it and make the, as you said, Stephen, pretty routine, easy catch. He makes it look. That one's going to get ripped down the line and left, but tails foul.
Nice piece hitting there from Coro, though. Out over the plate, was able to at least stay alive on that one. If that was able, he's able to get a little bit more under or around on that one and slice it in, down the line and left. You're looking at extra bases there with 2 away for Winnipesaukee. Runner in scoring position to extend the lead. Unfortunately, just a little bit too late on it. Picked it up a little bit too late. Just out. A little bit too foul for the third baseman.
So 1-2 now the count to Coro. Sansone gets his pitch, and here comes the payoff. Fastball's going to miss up high. Coro comes into this at-bat 0 for 2 on the day. Did walk and score in the second. But here comes the pitch. That one's going to get ripped and caught by the second baseman, Holzwasser. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Sansone and the Newport Gulls. Gulls bats coming up, having a chance to possibly tie this game up. We head to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to the NECBL Broadcast Network. Well, it's going to be a new pitcher on the mound for the Winnipesaukee Muskrats as Luke Torbert's day comes to a close. The new pitcher is going to be Scott Malin. Malin out of Los Medanos College, a Clayton, California native. This will be his 3rd appearance in the season for the Muskrats. He comes in with a total of 3 innings pitched. He, however, has a 12.00 ERA. He's given up 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts for the right-handed hurler Malin. For Luke Torbert, his day comes to a close with 5 innings complete. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all 3 of them earned on 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. He is in line for the win after pitching the minimum 5 innings that he needed in order to get credit for a win. That is if the Muskrats are able to hold on to the lead.
And I tell you what a turnaround from Torbert after, struggling to find the zone in the first, had a pair of walks that he gave up, and then a double and a single given up in the second, and a run, obviously. But I thought he really turned it around. I know he ended the day giving up a 2-run home run in the 5th, but I thought it was a really good day for Torbert out on the mound. And that curveball, the Gulls hitters never really had an answer for it.
Yeah, I mean, he really only made that one mistake, and that was to Holzhauser. And Holzhauser absolutely made him pay with a 2-run shot to cut this lead in half. So Mike Miller hands over the pitching duties to Scott Malin. First pitch from Malin. That's going to miss. As the first batter he will have to face in the goal lineup is Hayden Jones.
And you got to love the hands over the head during the windup. You don't see that as much as you used to.
I will say Scott definitely has, I think, in my opinion, the most unique approach to the place out of any of the pitchers. That's going to get chopped down foul. As he kind of puts those arms up, and then he leans back a little bit and then brings himself to the plate.
There was an old Yankee pitcher that used to do it. The name's slipping my mind right now. Just to kind of lean back and forth a little bit. It came from Japan.
Now it's going to skip into the glove of Tatum Levens.
And then did Dice K of the Red Sox also have
he
a delivery
did
like
somewhat
that as
similar,
well?
yeah.
He, like a lot of those, you find the Japanese pitchers,
I think
has that delay.
A lot of them have
yeah.
a little bit of a delay, longer delivery.
Hideki Kojima, too.
Yeah.
He was another Japanese pitcher, had the same kind of delivery.
Malin, fastball is going to be in there for a strike, evens the count 2-2.
And I know, of course, Kikuchi now for the Mariners. I don't know if he goes over the top of the head in his windup, but I do know he does have somewhat of a delay as he delivers to the plate. At least out of the windup. I don't know about the stretch.
Now it's going to get Chopper over to Crimmin. Grabs it, will take him himself and retire the first out of the 6th inning. So now to bring up Justin Henry Malloy, who's gone down twice, both strikeouts so far. However, both of those were to Torbert. 1 of 4 total on the day for Torbert.
Yeah, slow to get going for Malloy at the plate. 2 strikeouts, but successful summer so far for the Gulls. .333 hitter with 6 walks, and he came late, so already towards the top of the team in walks.
First pitch just going to miss on the outside part of the plate, so it's 0-1.
And you got to respect the mullet coming from Scott Malin on the mound.
It's that California lifestyle. Let the hair flow out there. Check swing from Malloy. They say he does not go around, so it's ball 2. So 2-0 the pitch now from Malin as he starts his windup. Curveball in there for a strike. The first breaking ball we've seen debuted by Malin.
Yeah, and if you're him, I mean, it looked good, so maybe stick with the breaking ball. Of course, from Torbert, the breaking ball is working as well, so maybe Newport's not picking it up well today.
That fastball, that's going to rip down the left field line, but that's going to be foul. It looked like Malloy got all of that one, just a little ahead of it and pulled it down that left field side.
Seems like, I mean, small sample, but seems like they might be on to the fastball here tonight. So I'd go back to the breaking ball if you're Malin.
Malin shakes off Levens, gets his pitch. 2-2. Breaking ball is going to get Chopper down the third base side. Coming in is Coro. Rushing over to the throw, and they're going to say he's safe. Close play over there at first, but they're going to rule it in favor of Newport. An infield single for Justin Henry Malloy.
Yeah, it was a breaking ball that Malloy just barely got the end of the bat on as he was out in front. I wonder if you're Coro, if you had another chance at this, if you let that ball go, because it started to tail down the line. It was a slow roller, and it was a tough play to begin with. So I wonder if, you know, it would have been easier for him to let that roll and see if it goes foul. It started to bounce that way.
That's the risky take. I mean, obviously it wouldn't have mattered if you let it go as it's in fair territory. Still an infield single. However, elected to pick it up and throw it. Mike Miller, brief conversation with the first base umpire, but he retreats back to the dugout. So it'll go down as the first hit of the day for Malloy, and that'll bring up Ryan Tours, who's got a couple of flyouts. Malin. Now a check swing popped up into left field, going into the foul territory and out of play.
Well, I don't know how you get that much air underneath and that much real estate underneath the ball on just a half swing, but Tours found a way to do so.
Sometimes with that, you hear that all the time as with some of the pitchers that have a higher velocity, as fast as it goes in, it's going to come out from the batters even faster. So obviously that's not the case with a check swing, but the velo that Malin's able to throw at, if you're able to just get enough of it, that ball traveled. I mean, that traveled all the way into the bullpen area.
We saw that on the Muskrats side too, from Coro in the first hard line drive to Malloy at third.
That one's going to be down low for a ball.
And the velo off the bat was probably immense too. I mean, call it the hot corner, and it was just a check swing off of Coro's bat.
You can see Malin here. I mean, part of his uniqueness, he has very opened up stance, allows him pretty easily to look over the runner at first. Sets. Now it's going to get ripped to center field, but it looks like it's right at Norman, who will make the stab for the second out of the inning. As that one was hit on an absolute line by Ryan Tours, but easy grab out there in center field for the second out.
Yeah, Tours 0 for 3 today, but 3 times he's been up and he's made 3 really solid plate appearances with good hard contact, but just can't catch a break. 3 flyouts to 3 different sides of the field.
And now it's going to be Zaid Walker. Walker 0 for 2 on the day. Malin's going to check in over at Malloy at first.
Yeah, Malin with a quick throw over. Trying to catch Malloy off guard.
Malin. Malloy taken off. The throw down to third again. That's going to go in the outfield. Malloy will race all the way to third. The second time today, the throw down from Levens. Tails to the right side. I mean, it seems like on the season, every single throw from Levens tails to the right side. I'm not sure what it is, if it's the grip that he has, if it's just where he's throwing it, but Levens inaccurate in 2 throws down.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something about the arm slot or his release point and why it tails out. I know that does happen with some righties. Just the way how they release the ball in the release point. I wonder if that's true for Levens. Because you're right, that is twice already today, and you said it's happened throughout the season.
Good curveball there from Malin in there for a strike. And that, in the case with that, where you're throwing it to where the runner is, for either of the middle infielders going to cover the bag, they essentially have no chance to go and stop it from going into center field.
It makes it impossible because they have to go back into the runner, and you're risking injury there.
I was going to get ripped right at the second baseman, Vigian. That will retire the side. So despite the single by Malloy, the Gulls come up empty. We're going to head to the 7th inning. Still Muskrats lead the Gulls 5-3 on the NECBL Broadcast Network. This game about to get ready to be undergo. We have a new pitcher on the mound for the Newport Gulls, and with the back third of it going over, I'll let the play-by-play duties take over for Steven. Send it back over to you to introduce the new pitcher and to take over those calling duties. Steven, take it away.
Thank you, Brian. New pitcher on the mound for Newport is Zachary Ottinger of West Virginia. Zachary is going to make his 4th appearance here tonight for the Gulls. So far, he has a 10.80 ERA so far. He's pitched 5 innings already for the Gulls, given up 6 runs. All of them have been earned off of 10 hits and 1 walk. He has struck out 6. So he's a guy, we talked about him the other night as he came in against Mystic. High strikeouts guy, has a lot of good stuff to his arm. Actually, he didn't come in against Mystic. Sorry, I'm mixing him up with Cameron Fair, but he's a lot like Cameron Fair, where both of them are used in middle relief roles. A lot of them are high strikeout leverage guys, really live arms, electric fastballs coming out of the bullpen. And I really like what Ottinger has to offer.
And, a lot of these middle relief guys have been very good for Newport as of late. You talk about Mystic with the bullpen performance in that game. That was phenomenal. That's exactly what you need out of the bullpen from the Gulls.
And you saw that. I know the fastball missed low and inside there from Ottinger for ball 1, but see the velocity behind it as this one's now going to be flown into center. Going back is Haskin, now turning back to his right, but he's there for out number 1. So 1 away for the Gulls here in the top of the 7th.
That was a long play for Haskins to make. It looked like he went over towards the right field and had to backtrack back to the left, so I'm not sure if there was a little tail on that ball from Cochran. Maybe it didn't exactly take the best route to start it off, but either way, able to recover and get the first out in the 7th inning.
Hey, like you said, able to recover, and there's 1 away here in the top of the 7th as Terrence Norman settles in at the plate for the Muskrats. Righty on righty matchup for Ottinger. First pitch breaking ball in there for strike 1. Ottinger, that fastball reaches low 90s. He's a part of that number 26 ranked recruiting class for West Virginia. Highest ranked recruiting class in program history. So now this breaking ball going to be flown into right, but right to Zaid Walker for out number 2.
Norman again going opposite field with this one. This guy, I don't think he knows what pulling the baseball is. Every single time he makes contact, it always seems like it's to the right side of the field. For that one, he put it on a rope, but right at Walker, standing out there in right field.
So now there is 2 away here in the top of the 7th.
As Zaid Walker made that catch, I noticed how deep he plays in right field compared to Winnipesaukee, who plays very shallow.
And I think that, Zaid just is a little bit more comfortable out there. He's had more experience. This first pitch fastball at the bottom edge of the zone, 0-1. But also, you think about Zaid and who he is, so much speed, so he can be more comfortable coming in to cover anything that is a little bit more shallow. So now this one's going to be grounded to Tours at first. He fields, steps on the bag for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Muskrats in the top of the 7th. It's stretch time here at Cardines as the Muskrats lead the Gulls 5-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
The 2000.
It's the bottom of the 7th here at Cardines. Gulls trail the Muskrats 5-3. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. So it will be the 8-9-1 hitters for the Gulls. Due up, facing off against Scott Malin in his 2nd inning of relief for Winnipesaukee.
And I will say, as we're getting into the later innings, the relievers for the Muskrats they normally would go to, they had Matt Pierce, who had one of the saves earlier in the season, the only save actually on the year, and Zachary Rogers. Both were utilized yesterday, so I can't imagine they're going to have Scott Malin pitch the rest of this, so it'll be interesting to see who Mike Miller tabs to go and pitch either both the 8th and 9th or just one for the 8th, one for the 9th, so we'll see, but Malin's got to get out of the 7th, obviously, before we're after that.
Well, the first batter Malin will face in the 7th is Joey Bellini, shortstop from Cincinnati. It's 1 for 2 on the day, doubled in his first plate appearance and scored, and struck out looking. His last time up came in the 5th. His first pitch to Bellini, fastball low and away, ball 1. So righty on righty matchup for Malin on the mound. Now Malin looking on Out of the windup. Head behind the mullet. Now delivers the 1-0 fastball. Misses low. 2-0.
You said it right there, Steven. That mullet is something else.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little jealous.
I am too.
If I could, I would.
So it does take a certain kind of person to pull out a mullet, and not many people can.
Especially as well as he does. Is this 2-0 from Malin. Once again missing low. 3-0.
I personally wish I could pull something off like that, honestly.
And I don't know who doesn't. Now Malin once again out of the windup. On the 3-0, fastball over the heart of the plate. Bellini was taking the whole way and count now 3-1. So if you're Bellini down 2 runs here in the 7th, you probably have the green light. It's on the 3-1. He doesn't. Didn't agree with the call, so maybe that's why he didn't swing as the pitch, or as the count is now full.
Good job by Malin bouncing back. Looked like 2 inside fastballs, but he's able to get the calls.
It's now on the payoff pitch from Malin. Breaking ball, catching Bellini swinging for strike 3. Bellini's second time going down by virtue of a strikeout here tonight. First strikeout of the night for Malin on the mound.
A good off speed there for Malin, and we saw 5 straight fastballs to start off the at-bat. And then throws that off speed, gets him way out in front of that for his first strikeout of the night.
Now we'll bring up left fielder for the Gulls, Greg Cavalieri. His first pitch, fastball low, 1-0. Cavalieri on the night, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, an RBI and a run scored, also with a stolen base. Now this 1-0, fastball up and away, 2-0.
And again, back-to-back batters, we're seeing Malin fall behind in the count.
Now Malin trying to get back into the count. On the 2-0 fastball, popped back into the screen, 2-1.
He gets a lot of velocity behind that fastball, I must say.
He really does. As he kind of gears back into that windup, and I think that helps him develop some of that velocity as he kind of gears back and then powers forward. On the 2-1, this is up and away, 3-1. So hitters count for Cavalieri, second straight at bat that we see a 3-1 count.
And you know, with pitchers who have a lot of velocity and fastball, they tend to sail it more too, which I think is the problem that we're seeing right here.
Yeah, I think control is an issue for a lot of guys that have velocity. Now, it's 3-1 from Malin. Big swing and a miss from Cavalieri to pitch up. Count now full.
Yeah, that might have been ball 4 there, but I mean, back to your point, with guys with the velocity, I mean, you look at a guy like Aroldis Chapman, Aroldis Chapman and like a Craig Kimball, where they just go and then they reel it. They don't know where it's going. They're just trying to blow it by the guys. They don't care about location.
Now this payoff pitch misses up and away for ball 4. And I think, even a newer example of that, Jordan Hicks of the Cardinals. He's kind of that new age guy that's coming in that's, throwing 103, 104. He's even reached 105 and has that slider to go with it. The stuff is there. It's just a matter of where's the control at. And that's, kind of the problem he's running into. And so it's great to have velocity, which Malin does. And plenty of pitchers do, but it's just a matter of control. I'm not saying that Malin doesn't have control. He's just struggling to find it here, although first pitch to Holzwasser catches the zone, 0-1.
Almost like you're trying to prove you wrong on that one, but...
Well, he certainly did. But I don't think, how do you find that control? Is it just repetition? Do you have to hone back a little bit? Is it a little bit of both? Is this 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed, throw down to second, not in time. So Cavalieri is aboard second with second stolen base of the day. Count now to Holzwasser, 0-2.
And another throw down from Levens. This one a lot close to the bag, but still on that right-hand side, tailing towards the runner, made it a tougher play for Vigian. That runner looked like Cavalieri might have came off the bag. If that's a more accurate throw, he might have been able to get that tag, but because he had to basically spin himself, turn all the way back towards the bag, Cavalieri able to get back in time.
Yeah, you're certainly right there. Now this 0-2, another breaking ball swung on and missed. The throw down to first in time for out number 2. Second time Holzwasser's gone down swinging here tonight.
You know, back to Levens, he made that throw from one knee, and I think if he got up more, he would be able to throw the ball a little bit more accurately.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a good breaking ball there from Malin down in the dirt. That got Holzwasser chasing, so the only way that Levens was going to be able to throw him was go from his knees.
So with 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th, the runner on second for the Gulls, trailing by 2. Chris Hamilton is at the plate for Newport. Righty on lefty matchup for Malin. First pitch in there for strike 1. Hamilton on the year, hitting .333 coming into tonight's matchup. Tonight 0 for 2, but did work a walk in his first plate appearance. Malin looking on. Out of the stretch. There was an 0-1 pitch. Just misses low. 1-1.
With 2 outs here, and still a 2-run lead intact for the Muskrats. Malin looking to get out of it with still that 2-run lead. However, if you're the Gulls, even just getting 1 here and making it a 1-run game as we head into the later innings, that'd be huge.
Get the wheels turning and get some momentum as this 1-1 misses up 2-1. Malin looking on the 2-1. Cavalieri on second. Malin looking over at Cavalieri. Now delivers the 2-1. That's going to be grounded over to first. Diving play from Vigian at second. Throws to first in time for out number 3. So no runs cross for the Gulls in the 7th off of no hits and 1 walk as they leave 1 stranded. Heading in to the 8th, the Gulls trail the Muskrats 5-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. 6 hitters due up here in the top of the 8th for the Muskrats. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. Zachary Ottinger is out there for his 2nd inning of relief for the Gulls. First pitch from Ottinger. Breaking ball swung on and missed from Phil Conti. 0-1.
And the Muskrats batters really have not been able to touch any of these relievers. Either Michael Sansone or Zachary Ottinger has only 1 hit through 3 and plus innings played, as only the single by Cooney off of Sansone in the 5th. But they've gone back-to-back 1-2-3 innings.
Now the 0-1 to Conti, going to be lined over to Bellini as short. Nice jumping play from Bellini. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th.
And he makes up for it. We've talked about how he's kind of had a tough day over there at short, bobbled a few ground balls, but good snag there on the line drive from Phil Conti.
Yeah, you're right. Has had a tough day, but an excellent play there, leaping play to save that ball from going into left field and saving the leadoff hit from the Muskrats here in the 8th. So now that will bring up Braden Cooney, who flies this one into center. Coming in is Hayden Haskin, who's there for quick out number 2.
Yeah, 2 quick outs, and still these Ottinger, we saw from Sansone, and Ottinger really has just been untouchable for these Muskrat bats.
Ottinger faced 5 batters, retired 5 batters, and now the 6th one that he will face tonight is Jonathan Crimmin. Righty on righty matchup for Ottinger on the mound. There's a pitch that misses low and away. 1-0.
Crimmin 1 for 3 coming into this at bat. He had a double back in the 2nd, and also a fly out and a strikeout.
Now the 1-0 from Ottinger. Fastball misses in. 2-0. Top of the 8th here at Guardians. 5-3 Newport trails. Now the 2-0 from Ottinger. Fastball catches the bottom edge of the zone. 2-1.
With two outs here, you don't want to put any base runners on if you're Ottinger. You don't want to give the Muskrats any kind of a hope to get some insurance runs.
Now Ottinger on the 2-1. Slider misses in. Count now 3-1.
And if Kremen's to rate, Nate Vigian on deck, who has reached base twice, a single, and then also reached on an error by Holzwasser.
Kremen on the 3-1 now. Watches this pitch miss in. So ball 4, first walk of the day for Ottinger on the mound. And with 2 away and a runner on first, that will bring up Nate Vigian. Vigian 0 for 2 on 1 for 3 on the night, excuse me, but has reached base twice. Singled RBI single in the second, then reached on an error in the fourth. Be a righty on lefty matchup for Ottinger on the mound, facing the 9-hole hitter in the Muskrats lineup. First pitch missing low, 1-0.
Not much speed over there on first base, and John Kremen, so I can't imagine a stolen base will be seen.
Now Ottinger on the 1-0. Fastball going to be lined into the bleachers in left. Count now even at 1.
Almost had a nice catch there by a fan, it looked like.
They look close. Pretty good crowd you guys got here at Cardines tonight.
2,244 fans strolled through the park here on Newport County Prevention Night. This 1-1 pitch misses outside. 2-1. Newport County Prevention Night, where the first 500 fans received free lanyards, courtesy of Newport County Prevention Coalition.
I did get to see the Teals lanyards before the game. They looked very nice.
Yeah. Ottinger looking on now. On the 2-1, fastball going to be chopped up the middle. Bellini behind the bag sliding, and there isn't going to be a play. So a single for Vigian, and with 2 away, or 2 aboard for the Muskrats as the lineup flips over for Austin Davis.
A good job flip by Bellini there. He doesn't get the out, but he prevents Kremen possibly from going over to third and just making him 90 feet closer away from coming home to score if there were to be a base hit. Now he's only at second, and that not only that, but you also have now a force at second, third, or first.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There wasn't really going to be much of a chance at a play, but there was a chance to keep the runners at bay at least. So now this first pitch to Davis. Breaking ball. Davis taking all the way for strike 1.
You know, Bellini's having kind of a rough night in the field, but I think that was probably one of the best plays he's made.
Yeah, he had the line drive play snag top of this inning, and then had the high IQ play just a moment to go up the middle. Now the 0-1 from Ottinger. Another breaking ball swung on and missed this time from Davis. 0-2.
Yeah, got Davis to chase. Good breaking ball there from Ottinger. Davis had 3 strikeouts in the game yesterday. Doesn't have one today, so better day at the dish for him. He's also collected a single, sac bunt, and a walk to go along with the flyout.
It's now on the 0-2. Ottinger looking on out of the stretch. Runners on first and second for Winnipesaukee. Now time will be called at the plate. Runners on first and second with 2 away here in the top of the 8th. Muskrats lead the goals 5-3. Austin Davis at the plate. Ottinger looking on. On the 0-2. Fastball chopped down the line at third and foul, so we'll go again. Of course, these two are teammates at West Virginia. Ottinger, a pitcher for the Mountaineers, and then Davis, an outfielder for West Virginia. So I'm sure they know each other in and out.
They had themselves a pretty good year. They reached the NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
I believe the regionals. I know that's at least why Davis was delayed in his arrival for the Muskrats.
Same with Ottinger. As now this 0-2. This is outside, 1-2.
That's definitely got to be one of those interesting things playing in these summer league games is you play with these guys practically all year round at college. You're going to be with them for 4 years. And then you're on the flip side when you come to these summer league leagues.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're friends for, you're still friends even while you're playing against each other, but then you have to be competitors as well. So now this 1-2 going to be popped up right at the plate in foul territory. Hayden Jones going back, but it's going to fly into foul, or out of play, excuse me, into the bleachers. So count remains 1-2.
And, you know, that's always been a weird dynamic that I've noticed is the whole going from teammates to opponents in the summer. And you see a lot of these guys, you know, saying what's up to each other before the game and after the game, and sometimes saying pictures with each other. So
It's still friendly.
Yeah,
it's still friendly, but during the 9 innings, you still have to be competitive, obviously, but no bad blood between any of the teammates.
And I'll tell you,
College teammates.
Will Truhl goes to Bryant. He's a pitcher, and his Bryant teammate hit the walk-off home run in the first game.
So this 1-2 pitch swung on and missed for strike 3, so that will end the top of the 8th. No runs crossed for the Muskrats off of 1 hit and 1 walk as they leave 2 stranded. Heading into the bottom of the 8th, Winnipesaukee leads Newport 5-3 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 8th here at Cardines. Gulls trail the Muskrats 5-3. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And Nick, since it is the bottom of the 8th, I'm going to look to you to fill us in on what's happening around the league and how some of those games you talked about earlier panned out.
Why, thank you, Stephen. So we have Upper Valley leading North Adams 5-0 at the top of the 9th. 8-3 Vineyard over Mystic in the bottom of the 9th. Top 8, New Bedford leading Sanford 7-5. We got a final Vermont over Ocean State 3-1. Top 6, Keene barely leading Valley. Valley actually had the lead for most of this game, and that's a 9-8 Keene in the top of the 6th.
So the Vineyard getting a win over the Southern Division leading Mystic Schooners.
Yeah, that's a big win too.
New Bedford getting a big win against the Northern team, and then Ocean State falling, another Southern team. Ocean State is the only Southern team right now falling besides Newport.
And I think that Vineyard Mystic game could propel the Gulls if they decide to come back here into second place.
Wow, that's interesting. Now there is a new pitcher on the mound for the Muskrats, and it is Ryan Metz. Do I got that right?
Yeah, it's going to be number 35, Ryan Metz. He is making his 4th appearance in the season, had a start and then 2 innings of relief we've seen him in. He's 0-1 in the season with a 23.40 ERA, so not exactly where he would like it. He's also got, so for a total of 5 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts and 4 walks, but they have tabbed him for these 8th inning pitching duties as we've gone late into this game. Still a 5-3 lead for the Muskrats.
This first pitch is going to be grounded over to Vigilante Fields and throws the first in time for quick out number 1.
In all 3 appearances, he hasn't gone more than 2 innings pitched. I mentioned it was just the 1 start against Valley. But in every single appearance, he went 2 innings, 1 2/3, 1 1/3, has given up at least 4 earned runs in every single one of those outings.
Was looking to bounce back here tonight against Newport with a 2-run lead. Of course, with him coming into the game, that will close the book on Scott Malin. He came in for 2 innings of relief, gave up just 1 hit, did not give up a run, walked 1 while striking out 2. So with 1 away now in the bottom of the 8th, that will bring up Hayden Jones for the Gulls. Righty on lefty matchup for Metz on the mound. Working from the first base side of the rubber now. Time will be called. Jones on the night, 0 for 2, but did reach base safely on a walk where he later stole second. Now this first pitch misses inside, 1-0. And it's interesting, Metz has a very compact delivery, not necessarily sidearm, but gets really small during his windup and then delivers almost out of a 3/4 slot.
Yeah, I mean, we've taught some pitchers, you know, they like to bring the arm all the way back. He really just kind of keeps it in tight. Another one of those guys that kind of keeps the ball hidden a little bit to the last second.
1-0 pitch missed outside, 2-0. And now on the 2-0. It's in there for strike 1. You know, it's interesting because Torbert, Malin, and Metz all have had distinct deliveries for the Muskrats, and all have hidden the ball well and made it, you know, difficult for the Gulls batters to pick up the ball. It's this 2-1 pitch lined off the catcher Levins and into the screen, 2-2, and I think that has, you know, helped them on the mound because of those unorthodox, if you will, deliveries.
Yeah, it certainly can help. I mean, it's one thing to obviously have the stuff, but if it's an easy delivery to pick up, then sometimes it's easier for the batters. And it looked like they're going to check on the home plate umpire. I think he got grazed with that foul ball right off the right shoulder.
So it might have been off 11's mask and then off the umpire, Tony Letizio, and then into the screen. He looks to be okay, though. Count 2-2 to Hayden Jones. On the 2-2, breaking ball misses up. Count now full to the Mississippi State catcher. Metz looking on. On the windup, steps back now. Delivers the 3-2 fastball, going to be grounded right back up the middle and into center. So a one-out single from Jones. Gives the Gulls a base runner down 2. Bring up Justin Henry Malloy.
Yeah, so Malloy's 1 for 3 on the day, a couple of strikeouts, but also a single.
Has a lot of pop to his bat. Hitting for average coming into today, but also a disciplined batter.
He was the only one that had the Malin only hit that he gave up was against Malloy, and that was that dribbler down the third base line that was that close play at first, but Malloy able to beat it out for the infield single.
It's a big swing and a miss from Malloy. 0-1. And you're right, even that we mentioned, maybe Coro could have seen that if he wanted, see if it would have gone foul. If it not, it would have resulted in a single anyways, but at least if it would have extended the at-bat. Mets on the mound, righty on righty matchup this time. Delivers the 0-1 fastball, missing low and away. 1-1.
And if you're Mets, looking possibly to pound the lower part of the strike zone ground for a ground ball that could possibly inning-ending double play.
So now this 1-1 pitch misses low. 2-1 now to Malloy. And you're right, if you're Mets, a double play is your best friend in this situation, gets you out of the 8th. Didn't work too much for it either. I mean, low pitch count at this point.
You know, I think Mets tried to do that with Hayden Jones, but Jones did what he could with that ball and sent it right back up the middle.
Now on the 2-1 from Mets. Working low in the zone, maybe trying to get that ground ball, but Malloy lays off. It does find the bottom edge of the zone, so count now even at 2.
Yeah, pretty much all 4 of those pitches have been down low. He's missed a couple times, but he got a couple calls for the strikes.
And that's really where you want to work if you're a pitcher, especially in this situation. Throwing over to first, but sliding back in time is Jones. That's looking on now out of the stretch. On the 2-2. This thing low and away. Count now full.
And if you're Mets, you don't want to give these Gulls any free passes. I mean, it's late in the game. Malloy represents the tying run. You got the lead run in Tours on deck. You got to make these Gulls earn their base runners.
It's now on the 3-2 to Malloy. Runner takes off for second. Pitch misses inside for ball 4. So the throw down doesn't come into play.
And we'll tell you, do not want a deja vu of last night's 8th inning. They went in with a 5-4 lead. Matt Pierce came in, who had been very reliable for the Muskrats, gave up 3 straight walks to load the bases with no one out. They elected to go to Zachary Rogers. Rogers did the best he could with what he was given, but the Mainers rattled off 5 runs to take a 9-5 victory. And the Gulls have found themselves with 2 base runners here with 1 out in the 8th, down by 2, but they get the tying run on base.
Tying run at first. Run that would give them the lead at the plate. So this first pitch to Tours misses up for ball 1. Tours on the day 0 for 3, but all 3 outs have come with good contact. Now this 1-0 misses low, 2-0.
He's flown out all over the outfield. A fly out to right, fly out to left, and a fly out to center. And as you mentioned, Steven, he's put really good wood on some of these balls, even though they're just flyouts.
This 2-0 misses up, 3-0. And Mets, as we talked about, struggling to find the zone at this point. In danger of walking the bases loaded now. Mets looking over at second at Jones now. Delivers the 3-0 fastball. over the heart of the plate, 3-1. You still have to come into the zone, obviously, on this pitch, but you're in danger of the Tours with the green light. Now Mets on the 3-1. Tours does swing, but pops it back into the screens. Count now full.
And if you're Mets, you don't want to get to this bottom of the lineup. I mean, Joey Bellini's got 2 strikeouts, but he had the double. Cavalieri's got 2 singles on the day, and he reached base also with the walk. So it's a bottom of the lineup that's been pretty effective today for the Gulls.
Now the payoff pitch from Mets. Going to be swung on and grounded foul along the dugouts. Yeah, and you look at Cavalier, that's why they have him at the 9-hole, kind of a guy that can flip the lineup over and spark the lineup. But 333 average, he's towards the top of the team in average. You're right, he's probably been the most productive player for the Gulls offensively tonight. It's now the 3-2 to Tours, swung on and popped back into the screen once again, staying alive. Count remains full.
Cavalier's batting average has actually spiked a little bit tonight. It's
333 coming into tonight.
366 now.
366 after his 2 hits on the night. Now the 3-2 once again misses up for ball 4, so 2 straight walks. The bases are now loaded for Newport.
And at this point, I'm shocked to see you got to at least, even if Mike Miller's not going to come out, Tatum Levins has got to go, and you just talk and calm down Ryan Metz.
And there's a pinch hitter for Newport. It is Colton Bender of Quinnipiac. He is pinch hitting for Zaid Walker.
I mean, this is a guy, he's batting .378 coming in. He leads the team with RBIs and 8. You got bases loaded with 1 out. I don't think they could have called a better guy to come up to the dish.
Yeah, and if I had to pick a guy that has the best plate or best approach at the plate in any count, it would probably be Colton Bender. As now there's a meeting on the mound for the Muskrats. He's just a guy. No strikes, 2 strikes. You can depend on him to put, battle at the plate. He can hit for doubles, can hit home runs, can just hit singles if you need him to. Does whatever you need. Can draw walks, and you look at his strikeouts. Only 2 on the year, and he's played in 10 games for the Gulls already. So just a guy that doesn't strike out. And besides Hayden Jones, who's only played in 1 game 2 tonight, leads the team in average. So Colton Bender is tonight's pinch hitter for the Gulls. No surprise that they call on him with the bases loaded in a time of need.
Yeah, Zaid Walker, not the best batting average. He was 0 for 3 on the day, so this is a guy that it's a good switch if you're the Gulls.
Now his first pitch to Bender. He's going to ground it right back up the middle, but a play from Vigiant flips the first for 1. Throw it as first is in time. Nice pick from Grimmin for out number 3. So the Muskrats get out of a bases-loaded jam heading into the 9th. Winnipesaukee leads Newport 5-3. So it's the top of the 9th here in Newport as the Gulls trail the Muskrats 5-3. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Gulls. It is Dylan Brown of Cal State Fullerton. He is making his 4th appearance for the Gulls. Through 3 appearances, he's pitched 6 1/3 innings pitched. He has a 4.26 ERA, and in those 6 1/3 innings pitched, he's given up 4 runs, 3 of them earned off of 7 hits, has walked 4 batters while striking out 4. He's a guy that isn't going to overpower you on the mound. He is a guy that works lower in the zone, and kind of a Kyle Hendrick type on the mound. Kind of late movement, forces weak contact, and he's the guy that the Gulls turn to in the 9th, trying to get 3 outs, while then they will turn in the bottom of the 9th, trying to get those last runs and steal 1 away from Winnipesaukee. Now you saw Colton Bender as a pinch hitter for the Gulls in the bottom of the 8th as he grounded out to end things in the bottom of the 8th. He is a catcher for the Gulls. He pinch hit for Zaid Walker, the right fielder for Newport. he will not be playing right field. Colton Bender will not. They have a defensive substitution. The defensive substitution in right field is Brett Vosick. He is a right fielder from the University of Kansas.
You know, Vosick, another guy who had a great game on Wednesday night.
Had a 2-run home run to his name, his first home run of the season. So you see Vosick there if you're watching along with us here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. If you're not, you're just going to have to imagine it. Dylan Brown on the mound. First batter he's going to face off is Jake Coro, the number 2 hitter in the Muskrats lineup. First pitch missed outside. 1-0.
Coro, rough day at the dish, 0 for 3, but he's got a couple of lineouts, so he's putting some good swings on these pitches that he's seen, just directing them right at Gulls defenders.
That was 1-0 pitch going to be grounded over to Malloy at third. He had to dive for it, and it's going to bounce off of him. So aboard with the first single, or leadoff single, in the 9th is Coro, and that will bring up Sam Cochran.
Yeah, tough play over there from Malloy. He gets in front of it, just skips up over the glove off his shoulder and skips, and no play to be made over there at first. So Coro on for the second time today.
So that will bring up Sam Cochran, who is 1 for 3 on the night with a walk. Singled and scored a run for the Muskrats. His first pitch, he shows bunt, going to ground it back up to Brown, who throws to first in time for out number 1.
Exactly what you want. Good sacrifice bunt from Sam Cochran. Puts Coro in scoring position with only 1 out here in the 9th. Looking to had a couple insurance runs for the Muskrats.
Yeah, that puts a runner in scoring position. And if you are Winnipesaukee, you're exactly right. That is what you want. Just adding insurance runs at this point, and then on the other end, on the other side of things, trading out for runs. You're okay with that. Just get out of Newport with a win. Now this first pitch to Norman. Dylan Brown delivers. It's going to be lined right back up the middle, but Bellini catches it, throws to second, but not in time. So there are 2 away here in the top of the 9th.
That's a fantastic read there at second by Jake Coro. As that was a line drive that not only did he have to get out of the way of, but then had to realize that it was going to get caught and immediately went back to the bag. Very close play over there as Holzwasser was at second, but they're in a rule that Coro just a half step beat the throw.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, that's an easy play to get doubled up on with how sharply that was hit. So an incredible read from Coro to get back to the bag in time. Now Tatum Levins settles in. Righty on lefty matchup. First pitch misses out. 1-0. Brown looking on. If he had the arm out, his right arm, it would look almost identical to Craig Kimbrell. The arm was behind the back, and he delivers the 1-0. That's going to be grounded over to Tours at first, and it goes between his legs. Rounding third is Coro, and he will score. The ball ends up in the right field corner towards the warehouse, and so Winnipesaukee adds another. It is now 6-3.
That's a tough break over there at first for Tours.
Ball was screaming through the infield.
As that was tough play, but right between the legs of Tours. It's a play that you got to make to end the inning.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, play you got to make, especially one that's, right between his legs. That one misses inside. Ball 1.
That's a big run. Now it makes it a 3-run ball game.
That's the insurance run Winnipesaukee was looking for. So they now lead 6-3 here in the top of the 9th. 1-0 pitch going to be grounded back to Brown on the mound. He's running over to first, flips there in time for out number 3. But Winnipesaukee does get 1 run here in the 9th, and they lead the goal 6-3 here heading into the bottom of the 9th on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Final 3 outs here at Cardines, trailing the Winnipesaukee Muskrats 6-3. Stephen Huffel alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. And To close out the ninth for the Muskrats, there is a new pitcher on the mound. Brian, who is it?
It's going to be number 15, Anthony Vlahovic, making his 4th appearance in the season. The first save situation for the left-hander. Native of New Hope, Pennsylvania, went attended to the University of Indianapolis. Did not pitch this spring for the Collegians, so he was first getting his game experience this summer. He actually pitched yesterday 2 1/3 innings of relief against Sanford. He has pitched a total of 4 2/3 innings. He's only given up 2 hits, no runs at all, so Mike Miller feeling that this is the guy that he wants on the mound in the situation. He's certainly proved it so far this season. All he needs is 3 outs, and the Muskrats will have locked up their 3rd victory. But Newport looking to spoil that here in the 9th.
There is another pinch hitter for Newport. Leading off the inning is Austin James instead of Joey Bellini. So Austin James is Newport's pinch hitter. He typically does play shortstop or third base. So if the Gulls do tie this up, he could stay in defensively for Bellini. So now this first pitch to James, he watches fastball in there. 0-1.
The Muskrats have only been, this is only the 2nd time they find themselves in a save situation. Matt Pierce did get the save in the win against the Keene Swamp Bats, the first one of the season for the Muskrats.
So now this 0-1 pitch misses low and away. 1-1. Vlahovic on the 1-1, going to be lined into left, but right at Davis. So there is 1 away.
Good piece of hitting there. Absolutely roped that one, but right at the glove of Austin Davis.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why they brought James in, because he does have that power off the bat, but you're right. I mean, nice play from Davis, able to roll over to his left. And now if you are Winnipesaukee, just 2 outs away from beating the Gulls as Greg Cavalieri settles in. First pitch is in, 1-0.
We've already mentioned how good Cavalieri has been at the dish so far today. A 2-for-2 day, reached base with the 2 singles and also a walk.
Now this 1-0 pitch misses up, 2-0. Yeah, and if you're the Gulls, this is the guy you want up at the plate. Then we'll turn the lineup over for Holzwasser and Hamilton, presumably. So it's 2-0, catches the outside edge. 2-1. I mean, Cavalieri and Holzwasser, that's where your production has been coming from if you're Newport. So down 3 runs. These are the guys you want to have the momentum coming from. This one's going to be softly grounded up the middle. Conti can't field it cleanly as he was going to have to hurry that play. So Cavalieri is now aboard.
Yeah, I mean, usually very reliable over there at short. Conti, I'm not sure if he just rushed getting to the transition for the throw, but he dropped the ball, and now first base runner on in the 9th. Now you got the tying run in the on-deck box for the Gulls.
So runner on first and Cavalieri as Holzwasser settles in. He watches this first pitch cruise in over the arc of the plate. 0-1.
Holzwasser has got a dangerous bat. He's already had a 2-run shot today.
Holzwasser 1 for 4 on the day, but did have that 2-run home run. So he watches this first 0-1 pitch miss up. 1-1. Of course, the Gulls trailing this one 6-3. 2 of the runs, though, from the bat of Holzwasser. Now this 1-1. Big swing and a miss. 1-2. It's looking for a 4-run home run there.
Yeah, good fastball on the inside part of the plate, but a big swing from Holzwasser. This is a situation for the Gulls. You're not trying for a home run. You just need base hit. You need base runners.
Now Vlahovic, curveball. This is way up. Nice jumping play from Levins to keep it in.
Yeah, didn't get quite enough on top of that ball as that one went sailing. That could have been bad. I think if that's a fastball and that doesn't have that dip down, that's the backstop and the runner's in scoring position.
Now the 2-2. Fastball misses low, and it's going to get away from Levins. Moving up on the play is Cavalieri on that wild pitch. So now there's a runner in scoring position for the Gulls.
And even though that runner's in scoring position, that runner does not mean anything for Vlahovic. And even, well, obviously it means something for the Gulls, but for Vlahovic, you can't be worried about that runner at second.
Now the pitch to Holzwasser misses up, so that will walk him. Now there's runners on first and second for the Gulls, and the tying run is at the plate in Chris Hamilton.
Hamilton, an 0 for 3 day. He did reach on a walk in the first, but a couple ground outs and a fly out.
He does have some power to his bat. Earlier this week against Ocean State, did hit a home run late in that game. This first pitch, watches low, 1-0.
That was close one there on the inside part of the plate, but just too far into the batter, Hamilton.
Lefty on lefty matchup for Blahovic on the mound. Runners on first and second, delivers 1-0. Off speed that misses up once again, 2-0.
Levin's going to come out to talk.
Meeting on the mound, yeah. Between the coach for the Muskrats.
That looked like it might be actually Michael DiMartino behind the dish.
Might have had a defensive, yeah, I think there is a defensive substitution for the Muskrats.
As it is, DiMartino is in replace of Tatum Levins.
DiMartino, maybe some of those, throwing errors from Levins resulted in him being pulled from the game, and DiMartino coming in. 6-3 here in the bottom of the ninth. Tying run at the plate in Chris Hamilton as he swings, pops this one into right. It's going into foul territory and out of play. Count now 2-1.
Well, we might have gone on that balcony out there for that house in right field.
Sorry, Newport glass closed at 9 o'clock.
Souvenir for whoever lives over there. I think it's actually one of the players renting out that spot.
Really?
I think so. Is this 2-1? Misses low. 3-1. So hitters count now for Chris Hamilton. He represents the tying run for the Gulls. One away here in the bottom of the ninth. Runners on first and second. Gulls trail by 3 runs.
Blahovic struggling with control here in the ninth inning.
Blahovic delivers the 3-1 pitch, missing inside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks. That loads the bases for Newport, and the winning run is at the plate in Hudson Haskin.
Yeah, this is completely self-inflicted by the Muskrats. The error by Conti allowed Cavalier to get on. Then back-to-back walks from Blahovic. The Gulls yet to register a hit here in the ninth inning, but they have the bases loaded.
Reached via an error for Cavalieri, then back-to-back walks for Holzwasser and Hamilton. Now Hudson Haskin at the plate. First pitch, strike. Fastball on the outer edge. 0-1.
Looking at the defense for the Muskrats, both Conti and Vigiant, the middle infielders, playing back at double play depth. Curro about in line with the third base line. Not quite in on the grass.
Now this 0-1 going to be flown into right, going back. But the Muskrats can't field it cleanly. 2 sliding plays from the Winnipesaukee outfielders, and 3 runners will score for the Gulls. And Haskin now caught in between home and third, but he's going to slide back at third safely. And so we are tied at 6.
That's a great piece of hitting there by Hudson Haskin. The fastball on the outside part of the plate just takes it where it is, drives it to that tough part out there in right center field. Both Cooney and Norman looked like they went to make a play. Neither of them came up with it. It looked like Norman, who got a glove on it. And now all of a sudden we have a tied ball game and the winning run 90 feet away from scoring for Newport.
Well, I tell you what, I thought Norman almost came away with it on that sliding play.
I thought he had it.
I thought he did too for a second, so I hesitated, but he wasn't able to. Now Hayden Jones is up at the plate with the chance to win it for the Gulls. This first pitch misses low, 1-0. 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. Winning run on third for Newport. 1-0 comes inside, 2-0.
Command really an issue for Blahovic. And that's what, when you walk 2 runners and you're forced to throw the ball over the plate, you sometimes make mistakes and put it too far over the plate. That kind of what he did with Haskin there, and Haskin made him pay for it.
Now the 2-0 to Jones. Another breaking ball comes in. They're going to say it hit Jones on the shoulder, so a hit by pitch, and there's runners on the corners now for the Gulls. Vlahovic obviously struggling with that control you talked about. And with runners on the corners, that's going to bring up Justin Henry Malloy.
If you kind of want to take a positive from that, now you got the force and the double play.
I think you're
now in
absolutely
play.
right. You could get the double play. You could get out of this jam and go to extras. Henry Malloy at the plate. Chance to win it for the Gulls. He watches this first pitch in there for strike one.
And if Vlahovic would be able to, if Vlahovic gets out of this jam, this would be the first time this season the Muskrats would be going into extra innings.
Winning run for the Gulls at third. Malloy at the plate. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Swing fouled it back into the screen, 0-2.
This would be an absolutely huge strikeout if Vlahovic were to get it.
So you hear fireworks behind the stadium. You might be able to pick them up on the broadcast. Newport looking for some fireworks of their own here on the field.
Stole the words Tristan right out of my mouth.
Count out 0-2 to Justin Henry Malloy. Again, tied 6-6 here in the bottom of the ninth with one away. Vlahovic on the mound, delivers an 0-2 pitch. It's lined foul and into the stands.
Hit a fan in the pocket, it looked like. I haven't seen that one before.
It's the easiest foul ball he'll ever catch in his life. Vlahovic looking on lefty on righty matchup, delivers 0-2. Misses just outside, 1-2.
Really good eye there by Malloy as that just barely missed. Vlahovic wanted him to chase but couldn't get him to bite.
Vlahovic looking on now, runners on the corners for the Gulls. There's a 1-2 breaking ball. It's going to be grounded over at short. Conti throws home, and the play at the plate is in time for out number 2. Risky play from Conti, but it pays off as they get the lead runner. Now there's only runners on first and second for the Gulls.
That's a risky play, but if you're Conti, you're going over to your right side, so you're getting pulled away from second. That makes that double play turn so much harder. That a heads-up play by Conti, and as you said, Steven, that's a very risky play. It pays off, so it looks like it's the best play that Conti could have made.
Now Ryan Tours settles in. First pitch misses inside, 1-0. What a heads-up play from Conti, and an excellent throw as well. I mean, that throw has to be on the spot, and it was.
And it looked like there was hesitation at third from Haskins. He didn't go right away on contact.
Now the 1-0 to Tours. This is outside, 2-0. So the Gulls still could win it here in the bottom of the ninth. Runners on first and second, tied at sixth. 2 away. Count now 2-0 to Ryan Tours. Vlahovic looking on, delivers 2-0 pitch that's going to be flown into right. That ball is back, and that ball is out of here. 3-run home run for Ryan Tours, and that is a walk-off win for the Newport Gulls as they take this one by a score of 9-6.
And that's just an absolute bomb right there. And no doubter, you knew it didn't even have to be a home run. That was going to bring all the runs around. And Newport rallies. For the first time this season, Vlahovic falters. He came in, only giving up 2 total hits, no runs. However, the blown save for Vlahovic, and Newport rallies and takes this game for their 9th win of the season.
So Newport scoring 6 in the 9th to win this one by a score of 9-6, improving to 9-5 on the year, while the Muskrats fall to 2-12. Don't go anywhere. Post-game show coming up in just a second here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. So it was a walk-off home run to cap off a 6-run 9th inning for the Gulls as they top the Winnipesaukee Muskrats by a score of 9-6 to now get their 9th win of the season. Newport improving to 9-5 on the year, while Winnipesaukee fell to 2-12. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy, and the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, Nick Bello. Taking a look at this game, 6-3 heading into the 9th, and it was at the beginning looked like a lot of the hitters were going to get going. Neither of the pitchers could really settle into a groove. Then both teams kind of settled into a groove somewhat. It looked like Winnipesaukee game to be had. And then, of course, blown save from Blahovic as Newport piled on 6 runs. The triple, 3-run bases clearing triple from Hudson Haskin. And then behind that, hit by pitch from Hayden Jones. And then the fielder's choice looked like a great play from Conti. It was a great play from Conti to get Justin Henry Malloy on first and second then. And then Ryan Tours, obviously, with the walk-off home run into right field to give the Gulls the win here tonight. But Brian, it really was a good game. Even before the 9th inning, it was a spectacular game that looked like Winnipesaukee was going to come away here tonight with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, they bounced all, they were able to get all over Mckenzie Stills, the starter for the Newport Gulls, but then once Newport went to the bullpen absolutely shut them down, and Luke Torbert had a good start for Winnipesaukee, only gave up the 3 runs, and Scott Malin was good. Ryan Metz ran into that jam, and that may have been all the Newport needed to kind of get the momentum a little bit on their side. No run scored in the 8th inning, but, and I said, they used up both Rogers and Pierce yesterday. They even used Vlahovic yesterday, but he came back out. He'd been one of their best relievers coming in, but for the second game in a row, the bullpen falters, and it results in another loss for the Winnipesaukee Muskrats.
You mentioned Luke Torbert's night. He really looked excellent out there. I know he started a little bit rough, but really settled into that groove. And he's a guy that kind of needed that start for him. Curveball was excellent all night.
Yeah, it really was, and that's a good sign for him. And I know we had talked about it in between breaks. Basically, when his curveball's on, it's on. When he's able to get that dip and players aren't really able to pick up the spin on it, he's effective. We saw it today. It wasn't like that in the couple of outings where he was able to get bounced around. So that's certainly a positive takeaway from this game. The offense was pretty good. I mean, you got Terrence Norman is able to hit the home run. We know that he can hit, and he can hit for Bauer, and he showed that again today. And something that I didn't really consider going into this week to be a problem, their bullpen is now faltered twice. So that's got to be something that Mike Miller's just got to figure out who he wants to go to. Like I said, he didn't make a wrong decision going with Anthony Vlahovic. This just happened to be his first bad outing.
And then, another thing I was looking at from the Muskrats offense, production at the bottom half of the lineup, that has to be a good sign moving forward.
They absolutely, because their bottom 4 had beginning no production. It was just different guys in and out. It really was their top 5 guys that were getting it done. So getting production at the bottom of the lineup is certainly key going forward.
There are some silver linings for the Muskrats. As the Gulls did come away with this one, it was a 6-run 9th inning and a walk-off 3-run home run for Ryan Tours to give the Newport 9-6 victory as they got their 9th win of the season. I'm going to let Brian off the hook, though. I know you got a 3-hour drive back up to Winnipesaukee, so thank you for joining us here tonight, and safe travels back.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me. It was a great game to call. Unfortunately for the Muskrats, fell in the losing, but pretty big win for you guys.
Yep. And we will see you sometime soon. I'm sure I'll be back up there with you in your home park.
We will see you then. All right, good luck, guys. Thank you guys for having me on the broadcast.
Thank you for being with us. Nick, I'm going to send it over to you while I have to go find Ryan Tours, so you can recap this game and then take a look around the league at what else happened there tonight.
Well, thank you, Steven. Well, folks, who said baseball wasn't fun? The Gulls walking off here after trailing by 3 to go into the 9th inning. Ryan Tours coming through with a ginormous home run here for the Gulls. Nick Bello here alongside my friend John Perrick. Now, John, the atmosphere in Newport was electric. Fireworks going off in the 9th inning. Some fireworks on the field as well. Take us through that 9th inning from what you saw.
Well, you know what? Before the 9th inning, I was thinking about everything I was going to have to say to kind of explain this what would seem to be a tough, ugly loss. I was going to have to talk about Joseph Bellini's series of errors. I was going to have to talk about that heartbreaking double play that Bender hit into on a hard hit ball up the middle. But you know what? What ends well ends up turning out well in the end. And I got to say that 9th inning, and we saw it, and it reminded me a lot of the Boston Red Sox. Why have the Red Sox not been successful this year? Because they haven't had a bullpen. And that was Winnipesaukee issue. They just didn't have the depth. They didn't have anyone to go to. And you know what? Newport capitalized. And even after that ground out to short in the play at the plate, of course, Ryan Tours coming up, 3-run shot, and we can all go home happy now, Nick.
And I think something that's going to go very underlooked here in this one is the triple by Hudson Haskin that really tied the ball game and then set up Ryan Tours for the 2-run home run. Or
right.
3-run home run, I'm sorry.
No, and you know Haskin, he was rounding third. He wanted to end it right there.
He did.
But it's a good thing he held up because, of course, Haskin eventually, although he was out in that play, a good thing he held up because that would have most likely sent us to extra innings, but no extra innings tonight. Newport's going home.
And so this win right here actually propels Newport to the second place spot in the Southern Division after Mystic fell surprisingly to Vineyard tonight. So John, what do you think this win does for Newport, not only in the standings, but for morale?
This couldn't be better. And I was trying to think, how am I going to explain this? Because of course, the Gulls, they've got Mystic tomorrow, and then they're going to New Bedford, and then we've got Danbury, and then, of course, we've got a doubleheader coming up, and there's a lot of games left to be played that the Gulls, they need a morale boost, and they just got it tonight, thanks to Ryan Tours.
All right, John, we're going to send it down to Stephen Huff, who probably has Ryan Tours, if I had to assume, as our player of the game. Or maybe not. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties over there. So again, 9-6 walk-off win here in Newport to start off the midway point of the season. And what do you like from this team going forward?
Well, I like a lot about this team, and I was talking to the manager, Kevin Winterode, the other day, and he told me that one thing this team has, which we didn't have last year and we didn't have it the year before, is depth in the bullpen. And giving guys off days will not be an issue here with the 2019 squad. And that, of course, we all know how demanding the season can be. That is a big plus.
All right, so we're actually going to send it down to Stephen Huff. Stephen, take it away.
All right, I'm with tonight's player of the game, Ryan Tours. And Ryan, of course, you guys looked down and out in the ninth, then you came back and you hit the 3-run walk-off. What was going on through your mind in that plate approach? And then, of course, how were you feeling after that walk-off?
The main thing there, I was just trying to get a good pitch. Luckily, I got ahead in the count there, so I knew I'd have a good chance of getting a quality pitch, and I just wanted to get a barrel on it. And it worked out that he left it over the middle, and I was able to get the hit. But everybody else that whole inning did a great job getting on, also having great at-bats.
Feeling good now? Feeling all right?
Yes, needed that one, especially with the error the previous inning, but I was able to make up for it.
Was that your first ever walk-off before?
Yes, that was.
Well, nice work out there tonight. Newport won by a score of 9-6 thanks to Ryan Tours' 3-run walk-off in the ninth inning. Back to you, Nick, up in the booth.
Thank you, Steven. So Ryan Tours right there. First ever walk-off. I mean, that's got to feel great, right, John?
No, it absolutely has. And he said it there, and that's something I didn't bring up earlier. It's that error at first base. When he made that error right through the 5-hole, and you could hear it in the stadium, it was just like, that's it. And I even said, you know what? Newport, beforehand, they showed up with their C game. And championship teams should be able to win with their C game if they're playing another C team level team. And you know what? After that error, I thought, all right, we've got our D game. We're going to lose. It's done. But you know what? The Gulls, they found a way. Why? And I don't mean to blame it on Winnipesaukee, but at the end of the day, a bullpen is what leads to championships. And we've seen that all throughout the NECBL now.
Well, John, thank you very much for coming up here with me.
Thank you, Nick.
We're going to send it down to Stephen Huff again. Gulls win 9-6 here on a walk-off home run by Ryan Tours. Stephen, take it away, my friend.
Stephen Huff here with Zach, and Newport won tonight 9-6, didn't we? It was a big win for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What'd you think about the win?
It was great.
Did you like the walk-off?
Yes.
Well, Newport won with that walk-off from Ryan Tours in the ninth, and they beat who'd we beat tonight?
I don't know.
Do you know who we beat?
We beat one of the animals in this planet.
It was one of the animals in the planet. It's the Winnipesaukee Muskrats by a score of 9-6. Stephen Huff here alongside Zach. The Newport Gulls will be back in action tomorrow against the Mystic Schooners. For tonight, we'd like to thank our executive producer and director, Tom Lima, producer Shannon Carlson, on-site engineer Zach Letson, camera operator Shanna Wintraub and Arthur Smith, social media coordinator John Semino, statistician Michael Garman, field reporter Nick Bello, and the voice of the Winnipesaukee Muskrats, Brian Murphy. I'm Stephen Huff saying goodnight from the city by the sea.
Second night.